Hello, welcome to JupiterAudiobooks.com. I hope you enjoy this audio. Remember that you can find this and many other complete novels visiting our official website, JupiterAudiobooks.com. Get comfortable and enjoy the narration.
Synopsis: Tarumi Yuunagi, a boy who hated human in the shadow, the only one who completed the Legendary Ura-game, which was held before. Although he had become a normal high school boy, but an accident made him join a new game, in a role of a princess and being targeted by 100 other participants. Also Harukaze, the real princess in game, was body-swapped with Yuunagi in real life. More and more unwanted things happened, changing Yuunagi's normal day life. Not also that, Yuunagi knew that the death of the princess in game also means Harukaze would die. In order to not let that happen, he had to finish the game without making any mistake. The ultra-real game, starting from switching, we will finish it perfectly. Prologue: a last player, the fools who stand against the tyrant kingdom. The difference in strength is as clear as day and night. Even though we have little chance to win, but yes, to show our respect to your bravery, I shall give you valuable information. If you want to win, kill the princess. Even though it is a little absurd, strike at his only weakness, the one and only precious daughter of the mighty king. In order to achieve this, take note of these three things. First, find the 5 cursed hidden treasures that lie scattered outside the wall and bring it to the old temple. Then you can awaken the divine rapier, scarlet sword, sealed by the first king. That sword can kill the princess. Second, bribe the 4 henchmen of the king, and gather allies to make a rebellion army. Only with that can the princess be isolated, and unlike her father, that is the only way to outsmart the extremely intelligent princess. Third, directly strangle the princess by your own hands. That's all. The first one to fulfill all 3 conditions will be the victor in this game. Strive. There are 100 players including you. It is exactly 100. Cooperating, fighting, or taking a neutral stand. Whatever it takes to kill the princess. Think of it as an approaching death. A desperation. Now, maybe you all have got the gist of it. If you answer yes for this answer, I will spend my free time for you guys here. That is all for the basic explanations. Also, if the GM spills too much beans, it wouldn't be fun, would it? Then time to go. Game, start. Chapter 1 game starts. Please help me. I noticed there was human's voice. Although I couldn't hear it clearly, but it was directed toward me. Maybe I was just hallucinating. Was it my imagination? Looking around the room, I didn't see anything abnormal. Aside from my PC and notes on the study desk, a tidy bed, adult books covered up as school book, light novel and manga, all kind of book was neatly placed on the shelves. The atmosphere in the room was as usual. No sight of any Zashiki Warashi. No, that was of course. So it was just my imagination. Am I that tired? I am still that young, how pathetic. Really, after tiredly shrugged my shoulders. My hand grabbed the iPhone on the table. The thing was, the cause of my exhaustion was maybe because I hadn't slept yesterday. Was hiring 50 manga in 3 break days is a huge failure. Nothing interesting. Opening my book app, I gave point and comment on the manga I read. 1 star, 2 stars. After finishing my harsh evaluation, I stretched my shoulders thinking of cleaning up the manga. Then I noticed. Right, this much isn't a record. I piled them up into a high tower. The other day, after coming back from TSUOIA, I immediately jumped into the world of Isekai Love Come manga. ID read. Hey, this one is quite good. I gave it 4 stars. Touching the charging phone before lightly pushing the power button, I unlocked the 3x3 pattern. Unlock. Oh man, that's wrong action. I felt a little annoyed because my index drew the pattern wrong. The result, it became a Z letter in the alphabet. This was completely wrong according to my settings. Things like this could happen. Opening the lock wrong wouldn't affect my mood anyways. Since the machine would ask to rewrite it, so I looked into the screen before doing anything. But something strange happened. The anime fan art suddenly distorted. The building in the middle was swallowed into a twist. The natural blue sky was also being swallowed. Oh. What is this? It is not working even though it was not a restraint, but I was paralyzed by some kind of force. I couldn't move even a finger. I think I am being sucked in? Being sucked in here? If so, then to where? I stare into the changing screen in thought. However, should I say purposelessly, or after a few moments, my consciousness was lost. Welcome inside the dark space. Suddenly a white line appeared. I didn't recognized. Welcome new player, welcome to the underworld. After passing through the dark space, I hastily opened my eyes. For some reason I was in the park near my house but not in my room. A deafening silenced atmosphere. Even though it was break day, I didn't see any family. If you were asking where I was standing next to a swing. Even I felt weird. I knew that, but maybe it was me. If this is sleepwalking, then give me a break. I spoke out to make the mood less tense even though I was feeling invaded. What? That's weird. Something must be mistaken. But I didn't know what that was. In a blink of an eye, that irritating feeling came back. My long hair suddenly touched my hand. Long hair? I didn't understand anything. Just what is going on? Deep inside my mind I heard someone calling. I tried to change my line of thought. First I needed to collecting information. To explain this confusing scenario, in other words I needed to know what happened. I looked around the park. Just so I noticed a lot of strange things. First of all, there was no one here. No matter how hard I looked, there was no one. Second, my eyesight was strange too. Although it was weird, but it was shorter than I remembered. And third is this: I tried to let my voice out. It really was as I thought. Although there was no solid proof, but it was not wrong. My voice had become that of a cute bishjo. What was that? I murmur with a high-tone girlish voice, and touch my neck. It was extremely smooth. To sum it all up, I touched the back of my neck and found no swelling. And my arms were small and cute as stainless chinaware. My hair was platinum color and almost stretched down to me waist. No matter how I think, this was not a body of a high school boy. This body was 2 times shorter. I tried to look down, and saw my big chest sticking out. Also, beneath the frilled fluffing skirt was my cute small legs. You gotta be kidding me! Without any intention of wanting to believe anything I guessed was right, I lifted the legs that was not mine and left the park. There gotta be mirror here somewhere. Where are you, reality? Come back to me. If this is a dream, then wake me up. I deeply prayed, and my hand drew across, even though I was not Christian. Finally I came to see a mirror. No words came out. It couldn't come out. The mirror reflected the image of my body, because it was my reflection, so it was definitely couldn't be wrong. Even so, it was complete different from my original. I opened my eyes wide, surprised, staring into the round mirror. No matter how hard I looked, that wasn't me, a 17-year-old teenage, Tarumi Yuunagi. She looked like a princess from a fairy tale, an unfamiliar beautiful girl. Who was this? Unable to process this mess, I twitched this extremely cute face while crouching on the ground with the legs, which were slender and wrapped by the long skirt. I groaned, spilling curses. After about 15 minutes. Because of feeling too tired with this body, I reluctantly looked around. Even though not knowing what would happen to this body, I needed to locate my current position. Walking from my home to here would be 3 minutes. Maybe trying to return home was a good idea. Just that. Even if I returned, there was no one there. I let out a sigh, looked like I was getting used to this anime voice. Being put in a place without any sight of people, then anyone would be depressed, right? Even though I said to look around, but because I no longer wanted to suffer from this mysterious world anymore, I got to move. I wasn't hoping it would bring any result. Yes, none at all. There was no way I would suddenly find a girl appearing, right? I found a cute girl. Nay, want to join my party? A merry voice right next to me. As my vision turned to that face, in the next second, my eyesight was casting into darkness. This overwhelming feeling, it was boob. 2 big hills wrapped inside the uniform from were clutching my head. Yes, clutched. Not good, my mind is becoming empty. I don't understand anything that is happening. Even if I wanted to push her away, but with this petite body it was impossible. It felt so good that my mind was about to melt. Ah no, I had to run away. You were so cute. Despite my struggle and soundless mum Yuri, the red-haired twin-tails girl started shaking. Without any hesitation, she held me with one hand, while the other played with me hair. Qua. Looking at you this close makes you even cuter. Why are you so cute? And this silky smooth hair feels so good. Let me caress it. Can I eat it? Can I eat you? Stop. I can breathe, you fool. You have a bad mouth. That's no good? Because you read this delicious, no, because you read this cute. If you don't know how to use it, go to waste? What? You, hey, do you know what you read doing Naihihai? Awesome hey, my ear was being blown into. I remembered the dangerous feeling when I was caught in that terrifying fire. I quickly escaped her clutches. Are you kidding me? She just being turned in a girl and then be assaulted by another girl. What is happening to my life? What the, you read harsh Haruchin? Do you hate me that much? At the least I don't like you. But Haruchin? What do you mean HM? Itu, because your name is Kumoi Haruka, so I call you Haruchin. I decide that just now. Do you not like people looking at your player status? Forgive me. Nihi, I and Haruchin are friend right Kumoi, Haruka. I repeat that name I totally didn't heard of. My name is Tarumi Yuunagi, not Kumoi something. Even so, the girl in front of my eyes called me that. But what I was more interested in was player status. Player, that means someone was playing something. According to Japanese, it could be actor, MC, musician, or sport player. Everyone aimed at a device to rewatch like a CD. But, from her words, I could make a more acute guess. The only theory to explain this whole crazy situation. Yes. Even though I noticed it from the beginning, but my subconsciousness avoided it. Game. You mean this whole world is a game? The girl was puzzled, staring at my stunned face. What, is this your first time here, Haruchin? You should say so first, you really unfriendly. I'll gently lead you? Just like teaching? Also, this place is pretty isolated? Simon, don't be shy. This girl name was Himuri Nanes. The moment she knew I was a newbie, she licked her lips and came closer. By the way, that was no metaphor. She was really drooling. My instinct told me I needed to run away immediately. Of course I got to run away. This girl body had different in high compared to my original. Also the feeling of steps too, so if I got used to it I could run away, and the result I ran away easily. You 100 years too young to run away from me. Cast delay. Right when I thought Himuri just mumbled something from behind, my body suddenly lost its strength. Even my running speed was slower. It was not like I couldn't completely move, but my body became strangely heavy. Even lifting my feet was hard. What's the meaning of this? While I was fighting against the force of gravity, Nihi caught Haruchin. Leisurely chasing, I was caught by Himuri. She put her hand on her waist and pouted. Mao, Haruchin. Refusing others' goodwill is not good? Shut up, and what did you do to me? What is your purpose? You bad-mouthing again. Didn't I tell you I'll lead you? Haruchin, this is just a game, right? Naihihai, I'll teach you lots of thing. I don't need it. Let me go. I move. I told you, because you don't understand the game's rule. Now, Haruchin is a little hard-headed? Or are you a slowpoke? Are you far worse than me? Naihihai, Himuri laugh was the same as a little devil, even though she looked cute, but it fit her. In other words, annoying. But even so, her words were a little convincing. Game. Although this world looked really like a real world, but I still couldn't believe this was man-made. If it was a game then, didn't he know the rule, and didn't he know the objective like the position I was in was really dangerous? Or, try to ask for her help? No, I shook my small neck, I denied that half-ass idea. In my mind, I just needed to nod obediently, maybe it would be the correct answer. But, I couldn't ask Himuri to guide me. Ah yes, a pessimist like me couldn't possibly ask for help from a stranger. To quickly get away from her, I tried to struggle and said, "Let me go, you sure, let us talk." This enthusiasm, like to intervene with people business because maybe seeing I was too pretty, moreover cute and clueless. Do you know the legend of Sphaya City? It is very famous. The name Himuri just said was a very big famous company on the world. Sphaya Company. Founded 22 years ago, originally they were only a small game company with few engineers. Up till this point, they had become famous. Then it was just natural selection. Though their talent was undeniable. They were extraordinary, no, even more so they were genius like the devil. Minimized game on iPhone, three-dimensional vision, full vision graphic, virtual reality, VR, method to simulating brain message, or in completely functional AI that could operate by itself. Sphaya was still developing and expanding in those fields, even saying that they were #1 in the world was not wrong. They were called the Magus. About of the technology that Sphaya owned, the physicians had refused to explain about it. There was a famous rumor about Sphaya that was uploaded on the net. That was Sphaya was holding in Ura-game, an unknown, unofficial game. Moreover, if you won, you would receive money enough to spend for the rest of your life, or immortality, a loved one, in other words you can choose one wish. Of course, there was no trustworthy rumor. After all it was only an urban legend. Of course, Sphaya was famous for their surprise tricks, they always did something nobody expected. That rumor had been going on for a long time without vanishing. Until now, a lot of pointless rumor was still spreading through SNS and on fake announcement. On auction website they were debating about what do you get when joining Ura-game like a very large sum of money. Even though those rumor was. Okay. Enough. So, this is that Ura-game? I cut in with an annoyed voice while Himuri was explaining, blah blah blah, non-stop. She kept clutching my head and pressed her nose and mouth to my silver hair, it's the true. No, before that my body was feeling very strange. Like it was being attacked from all fronts that I couldn't defend, feeling like my mind was about to be blown away. Naihihai, your reaction was weak Haruchin. Now let me love you? Don't joke with me. It was because of that skill that I, Eri. With an abandoning voice, I urged my legs and ran away. I still couldn't freely move, the proof was that my hands and legs were still weak, even though I didn't know what skill that was but I had dispel it easily. Himuri became suspicious, she said something while pouting. How unfortunate what? Ah, not that. Even though I could move but the heavy feeling like eating away at my body was still there. It had time count, maybe that was the most reasonable answer. Just now Himuri used something like a spell in the game. Then I was stunned and captured. About I could break out of the restraint maybe because its effectiveness had loosened. I tried to think a little. Because I was a player just like Himuri then I should have some kind of skill. So this was the kind of game that used skill to defeat other player. It was that kind of game? If it was, then what was the condition for using skill? How to finish the game? Damn it, why isn't there any guide? Even the procedure and how to play, I completely didn't know of. And the player suddenly Himuri break the silence atmosphere. I suddenly looked up. For some reason, Himuri was looking at me disdain while pushing her right hand. Oh no, she was pointing at the device on her right hand. And on mine there was also something like that. Looked like it was covered by iron, its form was long with a little sparkle. Player will own 7 card slot in this device card slot. To put it simple it was like a card? To fulfill the winning condition, we have to collect all the cards by any means necessary. That's the simple rule of casters wait the minute. Don't say anything anymore. Wait. House. I waved my hand and yelled. It was not that I didn't want to know more about this game. On the conversely, I really did want to know. But that was impossible. My heart was beating as rough as ever. My nature was like trying to warn me about the situation in front of my eyes. What is it? Himuri pouted her lips as if everything became bored because of my intervention. Haruchin, if you don't let me help, I'll get mad. I told you. From the beginning I have no intention of asking for your help. I'll never do anything to make me indebted to other. Also, what if you make me do something? Are you perhaps doubt me? You cruel Haruchin, do I look like a dangerous person? I don't have any evil intention. Wait. If we talking about raping then? Your body is my target, just kidding my arse, move your boobs away edita kamasu. Delicious. Oh my, how soft. Soft, I don't want to hear that from you. In the moment I looked down to evade that sweat talk, then with all my courage I looked up. Not that, it couldn't be. I don't need to know why you approach me, but I don't allow it or? No way. Haruchin is a Oreko? Really? Watashi? Watashi, I am not good at it. It has to be vigilant. Like you are, embarrassing? It is just that I don't trust people. Himuri clapped her hand and happily said. Not believing other was something to describe my personality, it was certain. Couldn't believe in the goodwill of others. I could only thought, everyone around me, they were all evils, liars, they wanted to hurt and kill me. Therefore I never wanted to make a close relationship with anyone. Ever since that game, I'd always live like that. Therefore, the positive people like Himuri were someone who I hated. Maybe she actually had good wills, wanting to show me lots of things. But who knows beneath that cute face what nasty secret was hidden. Therefore I wanted to be alone, even so. I stared at Himuri with full vigilant gulp. As if shaking, she looked down and her shoulders were trembling. I couldn't see her face. Maybe she was going to laugh at my face. A quiet atmosphere. Himuri still hadn't look up. Because I was being impatient. I was about to say words like sorry and quickly get about from there, but so cut Ha! What just happened? I screamed in surprise. Himuri's eyes glowed up and she said, cute. So cute. Just like a princess in rebellion age, extremely cute. Not good. I am going to commit a sin. I am going to die, what should I do? I want to lick you. I want to eat you. What nonsense are you spouting? From before to this moment. Nihihai, about this, it is something I couldn't understand. It is love. Therefore, even if Haruchin were against it, whatever you say I will definitely follow you. Okay? Why is that? Okay, my arse. Haruchin wasn't any obedient, you are so cute. Don't hug me. This girl is a lost cause, I have to think of something quick. Because it was my first time being hugged this tight, so I used all my strength to push that Twin Tails girl away. Was the winning condition of ROC. By the way, ROC is short for Rule of Casters, not Seosi Cthulhu? Himuri jumped off the swing and said. Her body was only higher than me a little, but she could easily fly. While looking at that figure, I input into my brain about the rule of Ura-game which I was forced to listen to by her. ROC Rule of Casters was in Ura-game held in a virtual reality space very similar to the real world. About this field, players called it the background world. It had its own moving system. People who had the player's right would have special action in the real world. It was known through ROC main computer and would be logged in an abnormal way. If they passed the test, they would be transported to this world. About my condition, it seemed the key was that iPhone pattern. Maybe I did that special action when someone logged out and at the worst time was there was only player left. Anyways, ROC had also delayed its system time, because in Ura-game must always have 100 participants. And one more important information about the content of the game. Seemed like it was just as simple: use the card and complete the victory condition. And about the winning condition, first is to collect 5 key and bring it to the place called the Old Temple. Collect the hidden treasure. A set of 5 cards appear before player. If you could hand them in without losing any of them, you won. The point was the card fight. Because in 100 players there was only one victor, therefore the fight would be intense. The second condition was get the assistant from the 4 henchmen of the king. The NPCs scattered in the area. One of the game's special point, this group of 4 people was appointed as the king's henchmen and were hiding somewhere. If you could find them, you could make them rebel. Just finding them alone was hard enough. ROC had already been running for half a month and still no information about the other 2 characters. And the third condition, no. In the end, the first 2 condition was only to link ton this one. Any of which, you just need to fulfill one of the 3 condition. In the end it was kill a princess. That was the winning condition, the goal of ROC in this Ura-game. However, so this princess is what so you really do care. However, I don't know? Wasn't it the winning condition? Yes. Till now no one has found it. Unlike other condition, card, NPC or even players, everything wasn't cleared. However, if someone found it, then it was time to finish the game. Don't you think? Therefore in here there's only killing and screamy ee. Key killing what? Words like that, don't say it, will you? Haruchin, you pure, so cute. No, this is a game, right? Even if I say kill, it means depleting HP. Even if you re-game over in ROC, except you can participate again, there's no penalty, so you can completely be at ease. Right? Right. This is a game. Right, so you just need to aim for this princess in the winning condition. After sorting those information in my head, I was about to ask for detail from the rules, but I suddenly realized the sun was about to set. Tar could only be made one when starting the game. While logging in, there was a part in the real world which said to move here. If so, maybe in my room, the me which was staring at the phone before have leave the body literally. I hadn't move in a few hours. Suddenly I felt a little worry. It would be bad if my mom got so worried she called the ambulance. I wanted to try returning to my body. Although, it wasn't try to, I wanted to actually go back. Hey, I called him Yuri, she was on the swing. To come back to reality, is there any ways to log out? Even if participating in a game, I need to prepare carefully. It would be very bad if I don't cover this up. Log out? Of course there is. It's a normal spell called return, so how do I get it? If you want it surely then come to weapon store, but... right. Do you want to confirm the 7 type cards? Every player owns 7 beginner spell, maybe it was in there. Try to look. While touching, caressing me, Himuri taught me how to use the gear. Although, this was the most advanced technology by Sphaya. Specially, no need to listen to detail instruction, I just touched it a little, my fingerprint was passed, and the hologram screen appeared in front of me. There were detail status, card slot, ID book VV. Each icon was line up. I quickly chose card slot and checked, however, Unknowingly, I let out my murmur in the puzzlement. Card slot was opened. From left to right was enhance feeling move retreat, there were 4 slotted card. The other 3 slot on the right was empty. No card was added. Did Himuri lie? But why would she lie to me? Leaving aside that suspicion, I tried touching other. ID book, just as its name, looked like you could contact other player with it. And the condition was to touch or to get known. Right now, in my ID book Himuri Nanes was registered. And I continued with detail status. This was the direct number about the stats in game, and I let out my voice when I looked at the last line. What is it? Suddenly seeing my face became serious, Himuri asked. No. Time like this I had to act like nothing happened. I smiled to not show her my abnormality, I calmly shaking my head. No. Return came up right here, so I was a little surprised. Just like this then I can return? Oh, Haruchin is a lucky girl. Yes. Just need to select it and click OK, then say cast OO with it equipped in the card slot. Nihi, next time you log in remember to call me? You must call me? I'll consider it.
Maybe I wouldn't meet her again, I answered her while I thought so. Himuri was happily waving her hand saying goodbye. Her scarlet twin tails fluttering in the wind looked very kinky.
Cast return I cough in a small voice.
Himuri wasn't someone bad but right now I didn't have any intention to return. If my login pattern was that iPhone lock, I just needed to draw a Z on my phone, ID and everything ROC related.
I didn't care anymore. It just seemed like something would still be linger in my head. Why my detail status was opened in a blink.
But even so, it was as if it had special power like Komoi Haruka's long hair, which was Naomi. Player name, Komoi Haruka stats, HP 1, Attack 5, Defense 5, SPD 9 Special Position, Princess. The effective return was to completely push the player out of the game. After casted without hesitation, in the next moment, I realized I was sitting on the bench of the man-made river, crying to myself.
The heck is this? I didn't understand anything? I completely didn't understand anything. Even though I didn't understand anything.
It seemed ID returned to my body. I used my thin arm to wipe away my tear. Now even if I turned my head no hair would be stuck. More important, my chest was flat, not swell up.
This body was not Komoi Haruka's, it was Tarumi Yuunagi's.
If so, then this was really the real world. The bustling of the city, the sounds of cars and the school bell sound. There was no place that looked like inside ROC. Even though I was a man who didn't trust man, but this humanity atmosphere helped me relieved a bit. Just that, there was one thing I was still wondering.
Why is my current location different when log in?
At least keep reserve people conate carefully, these fools.
After cursing at ROC running system, I went home while feeling irritated. The next day. Nagi? Nagi, hey. I reluctantly opened my ears.
While shaking my head to wake up, I looked at the watch.
7:59 a.m., quicker than my alarm 1 minute.
It was not that now I didn't want to sleep anymore.
But later it would feel better to sleep in class later.
Though, this was the time I was being interfered without mercy.
I am coming, Nagi.
The sound of door opening, a brunette hair girl in a familiar uniform walked in without hesitation. Staring at my lifeless state on the bed, she heaved a sigh and put her hand on her waist.
Mu, as expected you still sleeping. Nagi. Wake up Nagi Nagi.
I went to the trouble to make the miso soup with, Yakana sent for you, what else with that attitude, yelling first thing in the morning.
It must be Yakina Baka. I can believe this.
Every morning your beautiful childhood friend comes to wake you up, your childhood friend. At least show something.
Like thank you or being grateful. Appreciation or despair, or is that your nature? Stop questioning, you shameless one.
Wake up quickly or you'll be late for class.
You being noticed by the teacher, so be more careful, Nagi? Gulp. Therefore don't sleep anymore. She came closer while nagging.
Merciless, she snatched away the blanket I was covering. I was about to nag at her but...
Good morning, Nagi, good morning.
Standing before the bed like mountain, she stared at me with a smile full of killing intent.
That smile.
Her smile always looked like a blooming flower. Just like her name Sasahara Yakina, she was my neighbor and my childhood friend, one who was always shining. Height, bust, thigh and waist, all was at the level of super.
Her face was sweet and attractive, with an innocent look and big round eyes.
Also her brown shoulder-length hair, soft as the wave. Even if exposing that body, that ain't gonna happen, that stunning appearance was still astounding. I heard she placed first in the beauty contest held every year in the school culture festival last year. And she was very friendly. Good at cooking, as if you could say, she had no bad point.
Mao, change your cloth quickly.
Even if you come late with me you'll be scolded, Yakina said while pouted her cheek, and she naturally opened my closet and prepared my uniform. A so familiar scene that I got bored of it, a typical childhood friend. If you don't want to be late, then you could go first. Say, if you want me to change my cloth, then get out. Aren't you the opposite sex? Are you embarrassed with your panty being seen? I've seen it every day, that not the problem. Wait a minute, Nagi. Mao, you better be hurry. Pushing her back out of my room, I got my peaceful time back. I shook my sleepy head. What to say, I knew Yukaina was a good girl. No, I had to say she was one of the best, better than everyone in the world. It's just, to me, who always stay away from other like me, no matter what. I didn't like anyone invading my space. I didn't want to doubt Yukaina's goodness, but now I didn't have a choice, and now a strange sound coming from outside into the room made me remembered. Speaking of which, Nagi, are you home yesterday? Immediately, I couldn't answer. Nagi? Hey, did you go back to sleeping? No, I am not sleepy. I just yawned, so I was slow to react. Yesterday? Anything happened on, how to say it, Itu, at around 3 p.m.? I saw someone who looked like Nagi ran across my house. And was wearing home clothes. Moreover, you were crying. So I got a little curious. Around 3 p.m. Unable to react before those worth worrying words, I only murmured. When I logged in, it was just before noon. The time Yukaina said I was surely in the game. In the meanwhile, my body in the real world had my consciousness left my body, so it couldn't move. Of course, Himuri's information was only half true. 50:50. The most possible explanation was Tarumi Yuunagi had not existed in this world at that time. Moreover, Yukaina's words matched with that statement. Why was that? I asked myself. Why did I have to think about that thing? Whatever happened to that ROC didn't matter. Because I was done with it. I wouldn't log in anymore. I denied it. Nagi? So something really did happen. You seem strange today? If you not feeling well. While saying that, she gently knocked on the door. Knock knock, a very Yukaina-like action. I also couldn't call for a break from school now. While I was buttoning my shirt, I tried to say loud enough for the outside to listen. That's not weird, you were bad. I am okay. It is true that I am being noticed by the teacher, but I still come to school. Moreover, the bad thing here isn't my health, it is your eyes. Or does your head have a problem? What did you say? You don't understand? I hadn't stepped out of my house the whole day yesterday. It was you, maybe you mistook me for the next door dog. Quickly go get your eyes checked, Bakaha, what nonsense are you saying? I am pretty smart, you know. I didn't make a mistake, it was definitely Nagi. Yar, I smile wryly, you meanie. Don't say it like you know everything. That's enough, I'll go first. I'll eat all your breakfast. And leave only broccoli for you. You'll get fat, Miss School Lady whatever. I don't care. Leaving those angry words, Yukaina went downstairs. In the first floor, I could hear her giving greetings to me sleepy mother. By some kind of means, the chat became excited, and after that she would be waiting for me at the table. I yawned once more and continued to change my cloth. Even though we knew each other for a long time, but I still felt there was distance between us. But could I say that now? We were walking side by side on the road to school. And suddenly a voice resounded above my head. Really, you two always together? Say a soft landing sounds appeared behind us. The one who jumped down from the tree in the park on my way to school was a gray girl. Yeah. Good morning, you two. It's rude to appear here every day. A happy voice. With hands in her hooded coat's pockets as if forgetting she just jumped down from the tree. I couldn't see her face. The face behind that hood always showed only half of it. The range that I could see was from her mouth down. And the name of this suspicious person was Rory. She was also a student from the same school as me and Yukaina, but I'd never seen her wearing uniform. As people usually called that a ghost student, frankly speaking she was an unemployed senpai, homeless, active neat. Good morning, Rory senpai. What taste is it today? After I greeted her by lightly bowed, I asked her straight. I called it taste, but actually it was not a problem at all.
just because I always saw her with a lollipop candy in her mouth. Moo. Yuri also interesting in what's in my mouth. It's just an old habit. Ah, it's okay if you don't want to talk about it, it's sour. Today I ate grapes taste, here. She shrugged her shoulder and pulled her mouth with 2 fingers. She was right. Inside that small mouth there was violet color. Although it would be better if you don't answer with your mouth. If I don't answer with my mouth, what do I answer with? She just and did it again. After I raised both of my hands surrendered, she nodded satisfied. She gently pulled her hood and looked at Yukaina. For some reason she was pouting her cheek, groaning moo. You too, good morning. It's good that you always look great. Fufu, don't look at me while pouting your cheeks off, and no senpai. Ito, right, you don't go to school today, senpai? School. Is there any event today? Like class being smashed by giant creatures, or we find out that half of school student is clone. And no. Nothing of the sort. Even afterward. Fu. Then today there is nothing interesting, of course. Before the full of surprise words from Yukaina, senpai only smiled. Was it interested, or not interested? Seemed like there was only 2 options in how senpai judged things. School would be the later. So she didn't go to it. She said so before, even those determined words. I only knew that it was the behavior of an enigma. Because of that she was one of the few people I could talk with while letting my guard down. Then, senpai. See you again. While thinking deeply, I bowed and leave. No. To be correct, I was planning on doing so. There was a call from behind. Even though it was a calm, light voice, but that whisper entered my ear clearly. I stopped by reflex. As if it was a chain reaction, Yukaina walking next to me also stopped. Before our eyes, senpai said while chewing the lollipop and averting her face. You okay with it? Even though I had been called, I didn't understand her. What do you mean? I asked as if wanting to surrender. Immediately, senpai shook her head. No, it's okay if you don't understand. It can be help. Right. Do you know this though? Every event that happens in life, all is divided between 2 sides. I know about it somewhat. It is divided between good and evil, and the other about closeness. I don't know if it was right or wrong. If it were senpai, you didn't divide it by your interest? Just as you say. But what I want to say is not it. It is something even more simple. Something like this: everything in life, all can be categorized as things you can redo and things that you can saying so. Senpai, repeat her words before you okay with it? I turned and looked at Yukaina. Her face was saying she didn't understand anything. Moreover, in order to avoid going to school late, she was pulling on my shirt. Seemed like she didn't want to understand. As expected, that question was directed toward me. No. I wouldn't think anymore. She said with a mysterious tone like a genius of sort. Can be helped? I don't know. If so, then maybe the accused will be the one who has most easily be shaken this time. I only said so and went to school. The moment I walked into the classroom, it was for a second, I felt like the atmosphere in class froze up. After that, 30 people in class started talking again. The noisy atmosphere as normal in class had returned. Didn't seem like they were looking at me. Was it self-awareness or not? Just now I felt as if I was being dragged out from the ring. The thing that just happened couldn't be my imagination. Complete distrust in humanity. I didn't befriend anyone. And didn't get close to anyone. I doubted and deny all goodwill. I trust no one. That was my situation, but somehow I want isolated. However, seemed like people who couldn't read the atmosphere were present in every class. Good morning, everyone. Opening the slide door and greeted everyone with a smile, a normal action of Yukaina as always. After happily smiling, talking, showing that friendly attitude with everyone, for some reason she walked to my seat. Then with an angry face she knocked on my deck twice. Hey, just now why did you go first, Nagi? I told you to wait for me.
Hey, why do I have to wait for you at the toilet, eh? What are you saying? Every morning, I wait for Nagi, right? I told you not to call me. Ora, quickly go back to your seat. We came here just in time, you'll be late otherwise Fuen Nagi no baka as if she wanted to do it, Yuzuki murmured and stuck her tongue out, then she went back to her seat. Though, just walking for a few meters she was called 6 times. As expected of celebrity. While being leered at by my childhood friend, I only said one thing. Nosy girl. Doing unneeded thing quietly sigh I wondered, maybe no one heard that. About Yukaina always stuck to me was because she wanted to do so. It was not wrong, because before she didn't have that personality. After I became like this, Yukaina also changed herself. No matter how much barrier I put up. She kept coming without any hesitation. Now at this position it was safe for me to speak my voice. If you keep this up people will have bad impression about you, didn't I say so? As long as Nagi had a good impression the rest I don't care, she seriously said so angrily. Ha! Finally, today I lifelessly sit on my seat, a normal high school life as always. Next, parsing log function, let us solve it. The student was listening to the lesson in a calm atmosphere of the math teacher. I twist my pen to kill time and yawn the 10th time today. Because I was lacking sleep, and plus the teacher voice too, as if it was playing a unique rhythm to call up sleepiness. And suddenly, my sleep came without notice, my mind felt like it was floating somewhere. While drifting between reality and dream, my vision was as if it reflected behind my eyelid and the blackboard. In just a moment, it was switch as easily as switching TV channel. Outside. I tried to look out the big road near the mall in front of the station. There was no sight of human. Looked like a countryside city. Here, the time at when there was no people could only be at midnight. Don't tell me. Having my mind strongly attacked, my vision slowly become lost. As expected. My clothes had become that fluffy dress. The cute chest stuck out through the clothes. And silky smooth skin. No, that ain't what I mean. Maybe this was the result of me logged in ROC. How the hell? I wasn't supposed to be able to log in right now? I asked myself with that cute, high-pitched girl voice. The story was. In order to get into the game you have to fulfill the player login condition, on the other hand if you did not you couldn't log in. My condition was to draw a Z on the iPhone lock. But I hadn't touched my phone. Have I mistaken my login condition? Is there more than that? Force login? I've never heard of this. Then logout doesn't have any meaning I groaned in a small voice. The other time, I used return without getting any information, because I escaped from this game I became very happy. Although, if there was the possibility of force login and flew to here without intention it would be a big deal. In order to return easily, or in return I had to cut the information source. That would be bad. Now. What should I do? Do I investigate about the force login? If there is no real-life penalty, how about I kill myself? Or, are you kidding me, curse this game and then, over there. There was. Crossing my arms, I was lost in deep thoughts. Suddenly I saw something flared up. At the start it was as small as a bean, but then it got bigger. I tried to approach it. What? Immediately it could run on the ground, that surprised me a lot. The small body sent command to my brain faster than I expected. I dodged it with overwhelming reflex. Even though that action made my legs tremble. However, somehow I still could stand. I looked at the thing I didn't even know what it was. TCH, the hell is that? Suddenly it could move attacker. At least I could say that from my perspective, a man who didn't look like he could be easily stopped was carrying the extremely big weapon that he just slammed on the ground, then he spiked out phew. There was no doubt, it was another player. Something I was hoping for. Even if my role as the princess was not exposed, but as long as the nature of this ROC game which was card fight then a fight between players, PvP, definitely would happen. That I could understand. But, what was with that big sword? I observed that weapon again.
It was rather long but the handle was small, a strange sword with very big blade. I didn't know much about sword but just looking I could feel its damage was high. Actually, the truck apron at the front of the station was cut in half with one swing. Cuckoo. You must be scared to death with that look. Right. Looking at me reaction, the man turned back and yelled, he carried that sword on his right shoulder to show off. That smile with the evil face showed that he was really strong. How strong is he? Ah no. Right. Remember. ROC was a game that used card to fulfill the winning condition. If so then in order to win I must decide. Most importantly, that weapon the man was using was some kind of card or not. With HP and attack counted by number like in ROC, the form of the weapon didn't have any meaning. It looked dangerous but it could be a simple attack-up card. Therefore there was nothing to be afraid of. In that case, I ran back to keep my distance and activate my gear, immediately a light flicker on my right hand. Yesterday, before logging out I had looked at the 3 remaining card enhance feeling and move. Even though there was no detailed explanation but, through the kanji I could somewhat imagine their effects. If so then I could retaliate I just needed to know so, I opened my card slot. I opened my eye wide staring at it and stood motionless. What is this, you kidding me after being attacked by that sharp slash? I immediately rolled out of the attack range. My white arm scratched on the ground, I slowly feel the heat from friction. Does this kind of damage lowered my HP? Although I didn't know about it well but it would be bad to keep going on like this. I entered vigilant mode. While trying to deal with that man I looked into the device. The card in my card slot, the 3 card has changed completely compared to my memories. Synchronized checking speed. Everything was different. Was the card didn't get saved when you log out? No, that couldn't be. If so then until I completed the game I couldn't return to the real world. But, if that was the case, why did it become like this? Foo, that's good, Suddenly his voice came in between my thought. Because I didn't understand I let my voice out. As if he was enjoying this, his laugh was filled with despicableness. Along with that dirty look. I felt that this guy was extremely dangerous. After that, he laughed in a way that sent chill to my spine. Cuckoo, girl, you look good. I like it. That strong eyes are great, of course your look too. I'll make you submit to me. Cuckoo. It has been a while since I rape a girl. Now then after tasting you, and serve you I'll go away. Cuckoo, don't worry. In game you can scream out loud I suppressed the irritating feeling that was running across my body. That man was licking his lips while looking at me as if he wanted to rape this small body. I felt like he really wanted to. Stop, what the heck is this, so creepy. Being raped by this guy I'd rather die. He looked at me with despicable eyes I couldn't laugh, what a lowlife. Cuckoo, delay cast speed. Finishing his word, he used card with all his strength. Speed. Even though I didn't know its effect, but according to its name it was a spell to increase the player SPD. And delay was the reverse. It lowered the opponent SPD, therefore Himuri caught me easily before. If casting them at the same time the effect would be the same. If at that time I successful dodged the attack was because of Kumoi Haruka's high SPD, that was enough for me to run away, tch. The delicious prey escape seemed like he didn't want to chase after me, that man didn't want to use any more card or what. I needed more information. In order to prepare for further attack. That man attacked me didn't because he knew I was the princess. Even though in ROC the primary target was the princess, but even till now no player knew who was the princess. If so, no, because of that there's a lot of PvP. As long as no one knows who was the princess they could only fight each other. In this case the lack of information would be a big problem. Maybe even the stupid Yakana couldn't do anything. There was a lot spell and weapon that the man used, and the mysterious force login, I needed to look into it immediately. Without mercy. While holding the scratched elbow I groaned. Even though it was not a big wound, but red blood on the white skin was highlighted. And, when I looked at the device, my HP was lower. Although my HP was low to beginning with HP directly show on the green bar, it was not 40/50ths. Highest was 50, now it was 40. Meaning, only rolling I took 10 damage. What about that slash? Wouldn't it become like 1000? As expected there I need to know a lot more. The front screen was showed in front of me. To be frank, after looking at the ID book I couldn't move my eyes from it. At least Yuri was someone who had more experience than me, also her behaviors told me that she was a gay, Yuri. I'd have a mental wound. Although she was definitely a Yuri. Yes, but right, even if there was up and down, the scale belonged to me, but I couldn't bring myself to contact her. To be frank, I was scared. Scared to get close to her. While thinking so I used my finger, and all of my courage, to touch another icon. Immediately, there was a world map neatly in my eyesight. It was a map. The scenario of this world, playground. It wasn't as big as I thought, maybe at the size of a medium city. No. It was not look like, it was a complete replicate of OUE City. What is this? I remember all this scene. I explained it with a wry smile. If I looked carefully, the unique river and countryside part, even the store, apartment, all was replicated. If so then, don't tell me. With all my strength, I stared at the map looking for a blurry memory. If this was OUE City replication, then surely it'd be there. Somewhere around here, Yoshi, here it is. Even so there's no use for it. Compared to sitting here doing nothing, it would still be better. I had no one to talk to now. To the south I started running. I didn't make any mistake, after all ROC was still a game. So, I just needed to think of it as a game. Complete lack of information. At next attack of course I wouldn't be able to defend myself from the producer, of course that would be a bad idea, that was for sure. There was no player with fixed target. This game was simply had yet to complete. Therefore, I'll presume my target is school, police station, or library. I listed all the place I could gather more information. Then I walked to the nearest 3 location. The newly built library in the center of OUE City. As I guessed, it had become the place to guide and give information for players. Don't tell me it require money. Why, wondering I opened the door to the library. If I could gather information from the librarian sitting in the reception, it would be great. Just that all she said was simple line like, if you want that information you need the card with the same cost? And with an extremely cold eyes. If she wasn't a beauty I'd complain a lot. Because she was a gentle beauty I can do nothing. Damn it, white pebble was spread on the square in front of the building. By the way, I returned the check card. It was a kind of spell you could looked at other player card with it. Compared to synchronize it was rarer, but it was not the card that had much usefulness. Anyway I'd decided. More importantly, looking for information is priority right now. Time is money. After saying a blatant true I focused my mind. I wrote into my head about the librarian tell me. About Avatar, it will be automatically created when the player joined first time. About the clothes and appearance, it will be a complete replicate of the player at the login time. Outside of that you can't change anything. While logged in, your body in the real world will not function. On the other hand, when log out, avatar will disappear from the playground. And you can attack player who are logging out. Login only happens when played complete the special action in the real world. The special condition was something set for each player, and there was only one for each player. After reloading, your HP will recover completely. Information about location will be connected to the real world. This background world is deployed with the same coordinate as OUE City in the real world. If you log in from location A in the real world, you'll appear at location A in game from the background world. However, because the body in the real world couldn't move, no matter what you do, the logout position in the real world will always be position A. Also, you can't log in outside of the city. That is all the basic instruction. Is there anything else you want to ask? Smile coldly. If it was information from NPC, it couldn't be wrong. There's one more thing. Clutching my aching head with my hands, I crouched down. Suddenly there was a sweat smell entering my nose. With reflexes I looked around. No, from the start that smell came from me. Because feeling weird, I clutch my knees, head into my skirt, for now I rest my back to the outside wall of the library, looking at the sky and lament more and more contradiction. No, I just reluctantly accept it. When logged in I couldn't move, when logged out and logged in HP will be recovered, blah blah blah. I thought I accepted them. However, what about the unchanging appearance between ROC and real life? Don't tell me I was a silver hair bishto from the start? With this dress? How stupid. It was not like I was complacent, but no matter how I looked at it my body was of a normal high school guy. I didn't have a hobby like wearing dress. Moreover, the librarian never mentioned anything about force login from ROC. And what about guarantee connected location? Although her explanation was hard to understand, but in short I understood this worldwide parallel with the real world. When log in, the world will be turned upside down, and you would appear in the background world. Something like that. However, it was the second time for me now. Every time I logged in I appeared at a different location from my real world. Because I am the princess, my role was different? Thinking about it couldn't help but wondering to myself. But, no matter how strange my position was, the princess wasn't different from a player. Even if it was the about to be updated setting, then the normal setting wouldn't be applied, wouldn't that be weird? Where was I wrong? I don't understand anything. Not just this cute appearance, I threw away everything aside and sighed tiredly. Not enough. This source of information was not enough. If so I'd try and go see NPC at other facilities. I needed to go to the weapon store Himuri mentioned. Just that. There was a lot more things so I had to move back later. Time is over. Look, the watch outside library had reached 12 o'clock. No matter how pale my existence in class was, but if I just sitting there staring at my note in break time it would be weird. Sadly I don't have returned here. The only spell I had was synchronize. I couldn't return with this. However, go stealing, how is that? That sound goods had been away since my acumen was sharpened. Opening the sealed memories in the past, the scream in my heart was stronger than ever. Yes. That was it actually. I was pretty confident in this kind of game. Leaving the library, I headed to the next location pinpointed on the map. While paying attention to the end of my skirt I ran quickly. Through the big road, I came to near the man-made river next the city hall. There was a small light flickering at the middle of the big bridge. According to the map I couldn't be wrong, it's the floating point. Floating point. To put it simple, it was a special location where you can take a card in certain time. Waiting 30 minutes in the effect range, you have a random card that was not owned by anyone. Yes, that meant I'll wait here. Right here now, I'll patiently wait and use praying tactic, hopefully retreat will randomly appear. Of course that was not all. In a place like this, 8-9/10 chances I'd encounter other player. Back to the business at hand. As I expected, near the floating point there was people figure there. 6, no, maybe 7 persons. Seemed like they were all aware of each other, all their hands were on the gear, ready to fight. Fu, Yoshi trying to press myself down to not make any strange noise, I walked to the bridge. In that moment, all the sharp glare was put on me. After recognizing me as a girl, they didn't care anymore. In fact, they seemed excited and crude. At least their defense were lowered. I just like that crossing the bridge. Ignoring all curiosity and hostility directed at me, my eyes glued to the floating point. For a second I held my breath, their awareness were lowered, I silently twist my neck. If from here, synchronize couldn't reach anyone, let aim at the first guy. After I nodded, I aimed at the man standing right next to me. One more steps, just one more step, I gentle walked close to him. Gulp. Right when our shadow joined each other, the man turned his head. Seemed like he realized since a bit before, his smiled with hostility. The sharp eyes, typical of a hunter. I got used to this body ROC, my instinct told me this guy was trouble. However, to me this was also something good thing. Yoshi, in that case, I can deal with him without acting innocent anymore. Cast synchronized, I activate the spell with a bell-like voice. Choose another player in 10-meter diameter. Link all status between you and the player in a fixed time span. That was synchronize explanation. Used this card on yourself. And all stats, information and status would be synced by a same number. As the librarian said, linked stats would be dealt to the lowest one. However, just so in its effect time. However, that was all of its effect. It was not a normal card you could use effectively. Compared to the more useful card like Speed, it was harder to use. Generally speaking, it was not something that had a lot of utility. As expected, that man slighted me and let out a HM. Really, synchronized? Distract the opponent first before casting the spell, you girl or a newbie in ROC, right? I don't mean it in a bad way, but don't get in my way and go away. If you don't have any card, you don't get game over, so don't worry. Fun. Nay, this is cast spell? Ha! It is no matter how you look at it. Its usage was too small. Collecting the enemy status and then what? Isn't there a chance it would be lower, right? You rewrite, I haven't noticed that, foo-foo. Uncle. I didn't think you know a lot about this game. I tricked him with the full innocent tone. Playing as a weak girl, if so I could make the enemy defense lower. However, I worried too much. On his forehead countless vein was popping. Who, someone like me is not good? Kid, don't get too full of yourself. How lucky he was a hothead. Spitting out those curses, he started jumping on the bridge handrail with quick step. Doing action like water flowing, he touched his gear and his weapon appeared. Two swords which was short as knives was flashing on his hands. Ah no, therefore Uncle is really stupid. No, I am sorry, I didn't mean it. I stepped back to avoid his stab and quickly run back from the way I went on the bridge. In a certain time, all status will be lowered to sync with synchronize. So I just need run around, while synchronize was still effective. His attack wouldn't hit. Moreover, I deliberately said so, and he still didn't understand. I still had something even more special than synchronize. Actually, it was just a random product, so I have no reason to use it now. Hey! While getting away from the bridge, I was dodging and going to the small road and spoke up. His distance was 5 meters away from me. If talking about SPD, at my position I could get to him with one step. It was lucky I had this small body, and it was the first time I thought so. I used to hate this bistro body. I'll do you a favor and teach you something. Hey uncle. Your HP, you should check them more often? HP what? What are you trying to say? You were just running around without landing a hit on me. What? What did you do to me? Ehigu, she. Suddenly the uncle became hot-headed. I dodge all his punches. Can't be help. Because, the uncle's HP was added to my status bar with synchronized, therefore only remaining 40. And I could dodge all his punches easily even though I was just a weak little girl. However, as long as I still PvP with him I wouldn't gain any. Face, kid. He run back with strong stepped and got away. Unfortunately this was a game. Speed had nothing to do with kid or adult, our SPD was the same, so running away from me was impossible. In the middle of it, noticing I was chasing, he made an annoying face and casting that card, the card I hate the most. It is annoying but there is not other way, cast return. His figure disappeared with the cast line. Becoming small particle, he disappeared completely from ROC world. Looking at that scene, I celebrated my victory from the bottom of my heart. As expected. He had it. Alright, at around the floating point there would definitely be battles. People who were used to ROC didn't have any reason to come near those unsafe point. To prove my theory, my vision suddenly became dark. Lucky. If it doesn't work, I don't know what would I do. Feeling relief, I heaved a sigh, and put my hand on my chest. Soft. No. I didn't do it intentionally.
It wasn't like I wanted to enjoy it or anything, ehem. Synchronize copy player status. Looking at it that way it seemed normal, and hard to use, but its utility was diverse. When linked all status would be link when we were in game. A typical example would be HP. With the status HP 0 then, meaning status death, it would be a status. Because it was linked, so just to use that card and the opponent couldn't kill you anymore. And one more thing, if talking about status then player status was most important. It was log in status. Meaning the player while log in or not log in. Even that sort of information was linked. Therefore, when the opponent was affected by synchronize, if he logged out using return, that status would be copied and I could get out of this game. That was the thing that would get me out of this world. More than that. For had passed be hey Rika. Did you see that? Just now, yes. I saw everything you re noisy. If you speak that loud we llb expose ee. You meanie. A bit before RNT you were the same. Because Kazuki-kun asked so I answered. Kazuki-kun no baka. Evil I said you re noisy, oh wait, we don't need to go to the floating point but this is an unexpected gain. Kumoi Haruka, right. Although I don't know her, she is good. Kazuki-kun, don't tell me you about to do that. You re someone who talk like that. Right. I gotta go and confirm it, give me a break. Is ISNT the one you re looking for is boy? And that person no matter how I look is a girl. Moreover, super cute. Is that so HOAA, really, you re lost cause Kazuki-kun? Ma, you have a real beauty here you know, you really cold. That hurt, Kazuki-kun. You've been talking for a while Rika. Don't talk anymore, shut up, useless. To me, the appearance doesn't matter. That means? I told you I only want to prove I am the strongest. I don't care if Kumoi Haruka was the one I am looking for. If I fought with the strong I'll win. The rest is trivial. Or do we fight both, right, do your best. It's about time. Give me a hand you, Anaya. So we do it. Kazuki-kun's black hideout. First of all, why was it so dazzling? Even if I covered my eyes I still couldn't stand this burning light, I just closed my eyes and turned away. Immediately I felt a soft feeling on my cheek. What was this? This wasn't my usual pillow. A soft elastic feeling, and even a sweat scent. Just like a wonderful feast I opened my eyes. From this closet position, my eyes meet with Yukaina. Gulp. Immediately, I screamed with a voice which I didn't know if that was mine. I kept my distance with that paradise. However, because I just woke up, my legs still didn't listen to me very well. So simply rolled on the ground awkwardly. Over there, finally I realized. I returned to my body since gods know when. My body was also feeling different. I needed to calm down and check the surrounding condition. This was definitely the real world. On the roof of the school. The place consisted of only the fence and a water barrel. On the sun-blazing wall ground, Yukaina's face was red, and for some reason she was sitting Saiza. Hey! Can I ask you something? Well, what is it? It's rare for Nagi to ask me something. You should stop, the weather is nice, don't make it rain, why are you sitting in Saiza you? Ito. Because? Don't get mad, I was only giving Nagi a lap pillow. Incomprehensible. Since a while ago I was lost myself to Yukaina's thighs, there was no way I lost myself in that. Why did it come to this? When I looked up, I saw Yukaina flustered waving her hand explaining. No. I know Nagi doesn't like it, but as a childhood friend I can't let Nagi alone here. Right. Your sleeping face was also very cute too. Very dangerous. Also it was an emergency. What are you talking about? And, from the beginning with why did you lead me to the rooftop? He? Leading you, what are you saying? Just now when studying you suddenly stood up. And then ran out of class while crying. And finally we came to this You Don T, remember? Then I chased after you and asked what happened. But you didn't say anything, just sitting there and then slept?
Don T, remember before my murmur. Yukaina looked at me worrying.
What the hell? My mind became chaotic. Even though it was conflicted with the librarian words, but when I logged in my body still moved? Moreover, it was action without meaning.
If looking at Yukaina reaction, didn't the me at that time was conscious, right?
In the moment I thought about it, it was just like thunder words in my head. Hiya, W, what is it? Why do you suddenly stood up? No. Sorry, Yukaina. Today please tell the teacher I got to go home. In short, you just saved me just now. Please get my note for me. Wait a minute, Nagi. Dante, tell me you not gonna explain anything to me, you.
Leaving aside Yukaina anger words, I ran down with all my might.
There was something I gotta confirm. Even though the first thing I should have done was to think about it. However, could I get any new idea? Or could I look into this abnormality?
Jumped into class and broke that noisy atmosphere. I headed to my seat.
The second place from the back next to the window. Exactly as I remember, on the desk was my math notebook. In it definitely wrote integral formula, but now it had been neatly closed. No.
It was not strange that it was closed, but closed neatly like that was strange.
In the middle of the book something was swelling up. Something was there, maybe it was the pen. I opened that page and suddenly yelled. The page crumbled as if it was sprinkled by water. Was it because it was written over and over?
Or was it because the one who wrote it trembled as she wrote? The ink had become blurry. The small letters were as if they were scratching at the heart of the reader, as if they were screaming in chaos and uneasiness. This couldn't be a joke.
Who are you? Can you save me? Chapter 2, The Swap. On my way back home, I idly thought about the message. Who are you? Can you save me? An SOS message full of tears and fear. The one who wrote it was none other than Tarumi Yuunagi. But that person was not me.
Think about it, in this setting there was a few possible circumstances.
First of all,
the circumstance of creating avatar that the librarian taught me in ROC. Normally, when the player logged in, avatar would be created automatically. However, even though there was one person inside, but there were two bodies walking around. Although, in my case it was completely different.
From the start I was thrown into the body called Komoi Haruka. No matter how hard I looked, it was not my copy.
Or to be more precise, she was an independent existence. What if, inside that body from the beginning there was someone inside?
Soul, or you could call it consciousness. If that was inside of Komoi Haruka, then, compared to other player, we were having an extra part inside. If so, then what? That's simple.
Because there were two bodies.
But what kind of system is that?
In the meantime I logged in ROC. She appear in the real world as Tarumi Yuunagi. That complete swap was as if forcing the other out of the body. Because one body couldn't have two personalities, so there was only on method that was swapping. That might only be my stupid way of thinking, but if this theory was right, then all the contradictions up till now would be solved completely. The login appeared in different location because the body was not synchronized. And the login time that the card was swapped was because Komoi Haruka had been playing.
And the force login. I could look at it from a different perspective.
Right, there was no force login from the start.
That was because Komoi Haruka had logged out. Princess. No, Komoi Haruka.
Every time I log in we will be swapped. I also didn't care about the grey-hooded Enigma S word either. Thinking about it make my head hurt, because it would be bothersome to have connection with her.
That. Clack. A loud voice came out when I twisted the doorknob. There was no one that right, completely empty. Because my parents was still working, and about that I went home early. If I let Yukaina secretly tell, it wouldn't be exposed. Although why Yukaina and my mom seems close to each other. When I walked into my room in the corner of the second floor,
I threw away my bag and heaved a sigh. Unfortunately, there was no guarantee for those premises. I needed to quickly find something. If I didn't tea, I would feel the pain I had felt before. I turned around to my desk. On the opposite was the window to Yukaina room. I need to have a way to contact Kumoi Haruka. However, it was the simplest reason right now. For example, if she didn't log out and stay in the game, the second force login wouldn't happened. It was true that I didn't want to come back anymore, but talking to myself wasn't exactly meaningless. First of all, I have a lot to ask. Screech, with the permanent marker, I wrote on the new notebook no reading, especially Sasahara Yukaina. Satisfyingly nodded with what I just wrote, I quickly opened the first page and started writing with my favorite pen. First was self-introduction. Then information about ROC that I knew. Especially about two people swapping body when logging in and logging out. I highlighted it with yellower marker. About the cause, I didn't know clearly, but I had to write it. The remaining was for later problem. Who are you? Are you Kumoi Haruka? If not, what do I call you by? Why are you chosen as the princess in ROC? In short, what do you want? Why are you have the same body with me? What do you know? What will you do? Lastly, what do you want to do? What do you want to become? Or what are you hoping for? And why are you crying? Putting down my pen, I looked at the content and felt a little regret. Not good. That last line pried a bit too deep. Asking a question not related to ROC like this, she wouldn't tell me anyway. But I just ignored it. This was good enough. It would be annoying to write it again. After doing something like a prayer, I started logging back to ROC. Naihi hi, Hamp, I heard something which I had a bad feeling about. Mua. Fufu, Haruchin, you wide open? Still as cute as always, ha, I want to bully you more. Hamp, Mumu. My vision to me. At the same time, I felt something wet and cold touching my left ear. Something crawled in my ears as if stroking it, even going inside too. It mixed with a sweet scent, making my brain felt like it was about to explode, feeling as if I was being stroked or raped by a tongue. Tongue. Gulp. An extremely unpleasant feeling right when I logged in. I quickly lifted my head up. No, to be precise, I had to stand up. I couldn't move. When my eyes got used to the darkness, I looked at my hand and saw, both my hands were entangled by someone else like two lovebirds. Also, the area around my scapula felt like it was being pushed down by something soft. Also, why the hell was my skirt flipped? At that place, I was completely locked by someone else's white, soft thighs which were the same as mine. And then, for a while now, my neck felt some kind of dripping water. Someone was pressing on my back, though wasn't that Himiri. Mine closely, I wanted to stand up but I couldn't. What the hell is this? Hey, Moo, I told you to be a good girl, Haruchin. Simon.
This audio originates from JupiterAudiobooks.com. The source of this audio is JupiterAudiobooks.com. If you are enjoying it, don't forget to visit the website for more exclusive content.
Just lie there and leave everything to me? You'll feel good right away? Lick gulp. Naihi hi, your body is coming obedient. Chiu, amp. Gulp. Himiri crept her right hand alongside mine and moved to my neck. Because I felt tickled, I suddenly laughed and turned back. Immediately I heard a small voice. The feeling on my chest changed a little. Don't turn around, hiya. A whisper that could reach my eardrum made me scream like a little girl. Then Himuri's right hand touched my boob. Pressing the thin skirt, her white soft fingers tickled my senses. Let me take off your cloth for you? Saying so, Himuri started undoing my button from the top. Pie, each button was being undone, a feeling like drunk spreading across my body. I started losing my mind. This was okay? Himuri touched the soft part of my body, no matter what, she was a bistro. However, this was in game, but would this excited feeling be good? Kissing sound. Nay, Haruchin, this way. Look at me. I looked at the Himuri emotional face. She had undone her scarlet twin tails. Himuri lips was kissing me non-stop. Even though it was dark, I could still feel she did everything. Now my first kiss was in front of my eyes. Suddenly I remembered something. I put my hand together. Right. No matter what, this was a game, and this body had its owner. If I took away her first kiss, would she hate me later? Also, from the start there was no way I'd be raped by someone I didn't know. Therefore, get off me it's offense mode. Nihihai, from a while before you very obedient, where does that Haruchin went to? Nuni, I said, Don T, rub yourself against me. A dash. What else with that irritated tone dash? Moo, ILL feel hurt. Bad mouth girl will have to be punished? Chaye, what the, where are you putting your face, Haya? As I spoke up, Himuri changed her body movement. With all the choices, she came inside my flipped skirt. I felt like a white cloth had been pulled down, although, luckily something flew out. I thoroughly used the practical lesson. Escape from Himuri. Boo, while unraveling herself, she fell flat down on the bed, and pouted in discontent. And when I tried to turn back to look, I saw Himuri exposed panty, the best word to describe to the eye. Therefore a virgin like me, right now, was a pure maiden, had to look away. I begged of you, put your cloth on. Then we LL talk. I had no other way but push out those evil thoughts in my head. After fixing her clothes and her hair, I left the house with Himuri. I didn't want to mention this anymore, but this was exactly that, a typical love hotel. So, what happened? Watashi, sold myself for information? Yes, that is right. Did you really, Don T, remember anything? I got it. While doing that, your memories flew away? How cute. You could just say it out. Don T, need to be shy, you're kidding me. You gotta be kidding me with that way of life. You lose yourself someday, Kumoi Haruka. But actually, I was also responsible for using all of her card slot to log out. And left us shaking in fear, Kumoi Haruka, to this demon, Himuri, like this. Therefore I had no rights to scold her when she was dragged in by those sweet words like, if you do as I say, I'll teach you something wonderful. Haruchin doesn't seem to like it. About what? That, Haruchin is a shy girl, right? I thought because you couldn't open your heart, so I used the method of raping that you Don T like. Wait a minute, you cruel Haruchin. We all girls, right? It would just be a mistake in the night, right? I am sorry. Himuri clapped her hand and prostrated. Sometimes she sneaked a peek at me, though when our eyes met she immediately bowed down. Ha, really? Don T do that again for the second time. Surprised by my words, Himuri became excited and shook her twin tails. Looking at that face made me remember that guilty feeling, because to start with there was no reason to be angry at myself, that couldn't be helped. Well, only in Kumoi Haruka body could I speak like that. More importantly, leaving aside those annoying thoughts, I looked up and said, Compensate. Didn't you say you'll teach me something wonderful, Itu, because Haruchin looked like someone new to Arosi, so I thought I'll give you some tips. Nihihai, this is a big chance. I get it. Something like an unexpected payment, because looking at state she was always looked like wonderful. Nihi, then I'll do it again for you? So I thought she was kidding, but it seemed I worried over nothing. Putting her hand behind, Himuri asked why, tilting her small neck. Then let me ask. Does Haruchin know how to get card? Itu, it's the floating point. Or is it PvP? Also there is stealing with spell, right? And before you mentioned a weapon shop? Oh, wonderful. As expected of Haruchin, you still remember. Yes, normally there are 4 ways. She nodded and raised 4 fingers. The first method was get one in the floating point, a typical way. There we get a card randomly that didn't belong to anyone, a way to insert into card slot for player. The second method was PvP. That was the scenario in which you fought other player. Using this method mean you can find card slot that had high rarity from the opponent, meaning the number of existing card was rare. You couldn't choose as you like either. It was just that, a series of cursed hidden treasure that was connected to the winning condition. Such powerful spell would be very few. Obtaining those rare cards was also a good method. But at that moment, because of their power, contestant was unavoidable. And one final method, that was the weapon shop. According to Himuri, word weapon shop was a shop that sold weapon by trading card. By using the order materialize, an item would appear outside the slot. Also, weapon card could return to card form anytime you like. There was only one way to collect them. No, compared to the old way it was kind of strange. Just like it was an obvious system that remained till now. However, about the weapon shop, there was one in front of me that was the card trading shop. It means, like that? Card was traded for weapon, this time it s the items displayed on the shelves. The ratio is divided by their rarity, and the players will trade for their favorite card accordingly? You rewrite. Common spell is 1. Rare spell is 3, and curse hidden treasure is 18. For ROC battle system, the existence of weapon shop are irreplaceable. Naihihai, maybe Haruchin will become a regular here? Maybe to me, this wasn't something that would make me happy in the future. I answered Himuri vaguely, while lost in thought. Right now, those 4 methods was ways to find cards with different purposes. To find a good card you had to PvP, to have a spell with high utilities you go to the weapon shop. It just that, in the case which we had some cards in hand but all of them were rare card. For example, in PvP, in the case which you won by using the combination of speed and delay, to the card you would only lose 1. For the stealing type spell card you wouldn't get any. Weapon shop based on ratio, you could only increase your card if you got lucky. Therefore everyone wait at the floating point, if so, the balance in card supply would be breaking. No, that definitely wouldn't happen. ROC was run by Sphaya, so no way it was a trash game. A Sphaya who made many legendary game, attracted billions of players. As if they didn't have any shortcomings. If so, there must be another way? To effectively finding card. Before my guess. Himuri nodded to confirm. Explaining it with words would be hard to understand, so let me show you. Saying so, Himuri disappeared inside the hotel. I waited in a nervous state. A show. Saying that she'd show me, but how could she find any card now? A way to find card without the need of other player and location, if so it was a necessary information, especially with this game ROC which mainly is about PvP. No, I won't do anything like fighting quietly Mumor. Then I shook my head. All this strange thought was because I hadn't played in a long time. The why Himuri hadn't returned yet. Nervously waiting in front of the Love Hotel, standing here for long I'd have my lifespan shorten. Kya. Oh. Why I was thinking Himuri had jumped down from above. She screamed urgently. Her short skirt flipped up by the wind pressure. Because she looked happy I thought, does she have any kind of countermeasure? But she landed without using her feet. I didn't even understand what she was thinking. Hey, what are you doing? Aren't you Yuri? Or RM? Don't tell me you RM? That would be a little scary. Are you alright for an instance? Himuri fell down from the 3rd floor. Falling like that, if lucky you wouldn't die, but in fact she didn't look like she was hurt at all. It just that, her right leg had bent to a side, but I guess there wouldn't be any problem, right? It would be funny if she became the head of the newspaper as someone who fell from the window of a love hotel but didn't die. Why are you Haruchin? Before my extravagate strange words, Himuri flustered, waving her hand. I also hate getting hurt? I am telling the truth? No, not that, I told you I'd show you, here. Look. Himuri pointed at the gear she was wearing. The player indicator status on the first page, the damage of that fall made Himuri HP fell down from 880 to 792. When I kept looking at that, then I saw a part. Suddenly, the screen in front of my eyes had some changes. The slot that was surely been empty, a spell card had appeared. On the illustration it was drawn with a blue color as if it was poisoned, on it wrote recover. Recover cast. Himuri suddenly stood up and cast, then her lost HP slowly recovered. When that was done, she nodded satisfyingly and closed the device's window. Just like that. It just like in additions, to spell that have low rarity the collecting method that is already available will be set up like that. For example, if I use recover, in the condition of taking damage by falling, HP 1T recovered immediately but after a while, simple right? I see we could get card depend on the action. In the condition that there was no was this much anyone could find them out and continue the game. And, wait? To refill the falling damage with recover. So no matter how many time I do it my card 1T increase high, not as you think. As damage calculation when falling in ROC we only took 10% HP max recover will heal us for 30% of the damage. Therefore, if we fly 3 time we LL increase 2 card right? That's an creative idea, really. But, is it okay if we don't have any card left? If so then we'll automatically create them, then fill up the card slot and spend them in the weapon store, then we can collect card indefinitely. About that, I thought of it. However, it wasn't exactly so. Because it's a strong spell you know? So it doesn't come for free. In rare spell, which always available in store, something like return. Return. What? It's a necessary card yes it is. ____ return is always used by everyone right? When it returns to neutral position, it will appear in the floating point right? Therefore, to put it simple it can be duplicated, because it was not the kind of card that you need 3 or 4 piece so it's usually traded in the weapon shop. And the ratio was also good. Unable to deny it I couldn't helped but remain silent. Hi. How is it? Does that help you? That was bad. I had been taught thoroughly by her like that. At night when walking up the stair of the hotel, I thought about the trivial thing. Himuri wasn't here. I started being worried when looking at the watch a while ago, but she left after she finished speaking. Even though she said to meet again but I didn't plan on meeting her again. It was just that I don't know what happened on the other side, so to quickly log out, I need to collect material to trade for return. Supposedly I'd try to make an assumption. If I couldn't escape from ROC, then what must I do? Kill the princess that was this game target. If so, for someone who played princess like me I had no way to complete the game? Except me there were 99 other players, don't tell me my only option was to running? I don't think so. Yes. Truly the guy called GM had repeatedly said kill the princess in the instruction. But, it was not whining condition. It sounded like a provocation. Collect the hidden treasure and bring it to the temple. Incite the king's faithful. Finally kill the princess who completed one of those condition will be the victor. That meant the princess also had a chance of winning. Sphaya was the one behind this game, therefore the kind of lousy setting wouldn't happen. If the princess was the one who activated that scarlet sword then she wouldn't be stabbed, or if the princess made up the rebellion then no one would be isolated. Therefore, the main storyline would be about the psychological attack of the princess, a coup d'etat from the inside. Ha! Why do I have to do this? Slapping my check and undo my hair up, I asked myself. Right. If I couldn't complete it, I just needed to game over right now, it wouldn't affect me anyways. I had no reason to continue this game. Because I had no wish I wanted to fulfill. So I needed to try avoiding the princess neck be strangled right? But I was a little worried about Komoi Haruka's problem. I couldn't say I was not particularly care about it. However, saying there was death but ROC still only a game. Therefore things like completely died wouldn't happen, it would only be game over. No. I wouldn't be so sure? Suddenly I stopped as if struck by lightning. It wasn't right, it was completely different to the premise. Because the player in the real world controlling Komoi Haruka avatar was Tarumi Yuunagi.
The inside part of her wasn't here. So what would happen when she got game over? Thinking about it, a chill run down my spine. In short, I need to quickly go back to see Komoi Haruka's answer and continued from there. Maybe it'd be different from what I thought about Sphaya. Maybe Tarumi Yuunagi was a bistio from the start, which I didn't realized. No matter what my answer was, I needed to think. Oh hell, clinging onto that small hope, I put my foot on the window and into the dark sky. B to Tarumi Yuunagi-san. First of all, thank you for answering my question. Because I thought there would be no answer, I was very happy. One more thing, I am sorry for dirtying your book. Please forgive me. My apology. My name was Harukaze. The player inside Arosi Komoi Haruka that Yuunagi-san knows before was not wrong. But, I'll be happy if you call me Harukaze. Therefore, and about what I am right. Does Yuunagi-san know about AI?
The next generation artificial intelligence developed by Sphaya Company, a series of cyberbrain Shinki, bug number, one of them which is the most successful product and is also the biggest failure.
Number 5, code name Harukaze. That is me. My outer data image has 1/4 England royal blood.
Setting age was 14, short, silver hair, my sizes from up to down is 77 to 53, 79. I am very confident in mimicking cat S sound.
Sorry for the long trivial. In game,
I was set up with Yuunagi-san in real life, but I only knew that when I looked at the notebook.
Also, there is some information that I knew. I can answer you. It's like this. From the start, I was created to become princess in this game. About half a month ago. The day I officially woke up was the day ROC started.
Everybody, from this one to the other, chased after me. I was really scared. From since then I only ran and ran. I only thought I needed to survive, or I had to finish this game.
However, I couldn't.
Just thinking of I'd be killed if my role as the princess was exposed, I became scared and I only knew of crouching somewhere.
I was really weak, right? Because I was too quick, I always felt lonely.
Therefore I only know of closing my eyes, plugging my ears to escape that fear.
To not be exposed, to not be killed, I ran in order to survive. However, the I right now was really nervous. Just yesterday, my world changed a lot.
Coming out from the background world and controlled a boy whose body I didn't know, I was freaked out.
That was why I cried. Please accept my apology if I caused any trouble for you.
Even so, Yuunagi-san still answered my prayers. I cried not because of the former reason.
I was happy.
In my heart right now I feel very warm.
Although it's a bit embarrassing, but can I be frank?
The first one who asked for my name was Yuunagi-san.
And you asked me what I wanted to do. Therefore, Yuunagi-san, Tarumi Yuunagi-san.
I wasn't programmed about what I wanted to do or what I wanted to become. But, it was really scary.
I don't want to be alone anymore. As so, please tell me. Will you be the one who will save me? Do you hate me? Will you stay by me? Even for a little, can you become my ray of hope?
Boom, reading those words, before I knew it I punched the wall.
It's like that.
So it's like first words I looked at the letter again.
AI. Artificial Intelligence. An advanced step in the field of human science. Sphaya had perfected it to this degree. For example, a CPU and
I could see their action was very human-like, a special artificial intelligence specially developed. However, they were public in certain range. Behind this, they had created an AI that had a heart no different than human, and gave it a role of being weak and hunted. No matter how I see it, I couldn't see any justice in that.
So it was like that. Harukaze was trying to survive because the role of princess in ROC.
From the start she was born to be killed. A miserable fate, because she possessed intelligence and sensitiveness she became scared. Even so, she didn't have a special power to fight that grind fate.
No one to cooperate with.
Maybe because she couldn't trust anyone.
Doing so meant Sphaya was planting wariness and loneliness completely inside Harukaze. For what? Beat me, I couldn't understand. Too hard to understand. In other words, the girl named Harukaze was born to be tortured, used, and then thrown away, no different than trash. A despicable action. Just as I thought, these Ura-games were nothing but vulgar stuff as always. What do I do now? My lip was bitten too much, its color faded. Hope? Hope, you said? That would be hard for me. I didn't know how to answer, how to reply her. I was very confused right now. Depending on someone like me would be of no use, even so. However, those terrible memories just kept attacking, digging deep inside my mind. Right. If it was small, then it was possible. The one was connected. Nagi? Hey, are you in there, Nagi? Hey, open up, it is hot out here, hurry, I am burning. Yukaina? Suddenly I heard a noise from the door. Reflexively I stuffed book in the drawer. Putting aside all those thoughts, I hurriedly stood up and headed toward the door, which was being pounded. Boom boom. Don T tell me she used her head to pound the door. You Two, as I opened the lock, my childhood friend had jumped in with a red forehead as I guessed. Together with that small scream, she had to step 2-3 times to regain balance. Phew, after heave a long breath, she looked at me. Moo, if you open the door you have to tell me first, Nagi. Don T, you see it as dangerous. Don T, tell me you bring that pot here with your hands like an idiot, closing the door with a surprised look. Then I headed toward Yukaina. In this evening, she was wearing something looked like a thin negligee. A warm color mixed with orange. Even if she was wearing a sweater on the outside or wearing a cute hat, but the fact that she was hugging that pot with her hands made she lose all her appeals. Pot. Why the hell was a pot? This? Porridge, it is porridge. Jaja _ while saying that excitedly. Yukaina opened the little pot which was placed next to my bed. Right then, the white steam floated out, a tickling light scent went straight up my nose. Ari, why am I feeling hungry? Yukaina laughed happily when she heard my stomach growling. Oh. I knew it. You haven't eat dinner, right? Your mom is very worried. Also, you went home early too. Just now when I looked through the window I saw you sitting with your face lying on the desk. This is your childhood friend kindness for you. Then you made this porridge? And bring it here at midnight? That's right. Foo. How is it? That's my devotion. You want to praise me, right? Ah, yes. Yukaina is the best. Why answering her I went to my bed, eating this porridge. I couldn't be full, but because she had went through the trouble of making it then I'd eat that. Her cooking skill was rather high anyway, Eri? As I stretched my hand out to take the spoon, for some reason Yukaina I kept blinking. Nagi, that's right? If you want to say you saw something different then it's time for you to go to the hospital. That bad-mouthing is really Nagi. But, you really not feeling well, right, Nagi? If you read the normal Nagi you'd say something like what are you doing, what's your purpose? My house property. What, why are you talking about money? Then how much is it? That's not what I mean. It's good if you keep opening yourself like this. Yoshi, Nagi, give me the spoon? I'll feed you. That's AAA. Ha. What are you saying? I can eat on my own chance. When I was talking, Yukaina put her hand out and snatched the spoon while I was not paying attention. Then she acted proud. Foo. Moo. Patient is patient, it's not good if you keep suffering like that. Because Nagi always does reckless stuffs. Simon, open your mouth, AA _____. She started become strict. Unfortunately when Yukaina switched on this mode it'd be useless no matter what I said. The more I acted tough the sweeter she became. Because I could only take it, I stretched my face out and took a bite. Delicious. The sweetness of rice mixed with the wonderful ability to use spices of Yukaina, I felt like I could eat forever. Having eating for a while, I was still receiving her dedicated service. Both of us didn't say anything, and time slowly flew. Even so,
I was still opening my mouth naturally, only by myself I'd nearly eaten all of that small pit. When the sound of spoon and pottery met each other, there was a not-so-small feeling of pity raging in my heart. Right after that, Yukaina spoke up. "Hey! Are you keeping secret from me?" Even though I didn't know what she wanted to say, but there was definitely a reason for this. Well, that was natural. Yukaina saw, not once but 3 times when Harukaze was in the body of Tarumi Yuunagi. To my childhood friend who I spent half of my life with, of course she noticed these strange and unnatural things. Turning my head up, I sneak a peek at Yukaina's face. Seemed like she was trying to feign calm. But the thing was, maybe she was worrying or felt insecure. As a bad habit when I was disturbed, I touched my side hair. I was really grateful when she worried about me. It was just, I couldn't say it. I couldn't tell her. Even if I could possibly be exposed by someone, but only Yukaina especially, I definitely didn't want her to know. Therefore, I had to answer her. Just need to say it jokingly as always, like, what are you talking about? I don't have any secret. If you think I'll tell you everything about me, then you've made a big mistake. But the thing that was lingering in my mind right now was Harukaze's words. A girl that was always alone. To SOS like that, someone like me definitely couldn't help her, but I know someone who could. Alright, she was right in front of me. If it was the thick-skinned Yukaina, who didn't know of embarrassment but kind, who knew if the loneliness Harukaze relieved somehow. Therefore, if I have something I want to depend on you, if that time comes you don't need to know why, can you be a kind girl? The truth is maybe I'll explain to you later. If I had proceeded more it would become a shameless plea. Moreover, to someone who's self-proclaimed not trusting in human like Tarumi, this was definitely a first. But in reality, Yukaina opened her eyes wide in surprise. However, I get it, nodded her head with her words. She let out a little sad smile. Around 12 o'clock midnight. I was staring at the silent phone screen. Himuri had exposed something before leaving. In short, its content was like this. There was on social network that Sphia published Rule of Hunters, short name ROH, its content was somewhat the same as. Also, there was player that was looking for resemblance between ROC and ROH. And the result was that guess was correct. About the periodic event happened inside ROH, the information received inside ROC would slowly be cleared. And today was exactly the day that event went online. Maybe in this time, the number of players who logged in ROC would be little. Mixing inside the normal people who used ROH, surely they look for the suggestion to the extent that their eyes hurt. No, maybe I would not call it looking. The information found it reflected on the screen was extremely simple. Before the event banner flew to the apps, there was a suspicious-looking mage in white clothes who sent a message. This was what he said. The princess had finally been surrounded by you. There was no place to run. She couldn't retreat anymore. Use everything you had, push his princess against the well. However, it seems stupid, but the princess still has a secret plan. While overcoming countless traps, you must fight and aim for the legendary treasures sleep within the castle. Finally, it was the fixed words "Let us play ROH" appeared. After considering it was not related at all, I started raising my face. The princess was surrounded and didn't have anywhere to run. I didn't understand why this princess was treated harshly like that. In short, she was being hunted. Being surrounded and couldn't run away. Not right. The thing which was stopping the princess was not escape. It was return. They deliberately used that word to mess up the feeling of the sentence. Then what was that for? Return, log out. The princess can log out from ROC. Saying that, suddenly I had a bad feeling, weariness had shackled my body. Not good. Not good at all. With this suggestion it would born a paradox, the one who couldn't log out from ROC was the princess. It was true that Komoi Haruka couldn't log out from ROC. No, because both me and Harukaze could use return, but because it was swapping our bodies, so we still couldn't detach from ROC. If that was all, then I could still fool them, but I had been seen.
At least once, I used return right in front of Himuri. Even when I copied return with synchronize, I felt someone's sight directed towards me. The logout of Harukaze still didn't have any confirmation. But I didn't even know how much witness of this case there were. Gulp. Putting the phone to sleep mode, I pressed the power button once more. Quickly, I needed to go before it's too late. While feeling impatient, I entered the pattern. In the middle of it, I stopped. Is this fine? I murmured with a pale face. It was true, I was sympathetic with Harukaze's condition. If this was fiction, then it'd become a big bang when the main character helped a girl. But, even if I said that the me in real life couldn't do anything to help, I didn't have the power to protect Harukaze. To speak frankly, I always thought of cutting this Taiwan song for good. But even so, even for a little while, can you become my ray of hope? Once again, that hoping stuff's floated in my head. That plea. That pure, untainted heart strongly attacked my insensitivity inside me. Her words shaken me. Mao, damn it. I get it, just for a little, okay. Can T be helped? I'll meet you later. But don't get it wrong. I still haven't believed you. So don't leave it like that, you idiot girl. I temporarily spit everything out. It wasn't like I was tamed by Harukaze or anything. It was just, let's see, right. If right now I was game over, I didn't know if I'd be affected or not. I couldn't care less about this. That was also, in my condition, it would be bad for me if you die. Underscore to Harukaze, it's fine, right? From now on I'll borrow your body for a while. About your question whether I can help you or something like that, I still couldn't guarantee it. I also couldn't say I'd be your ray of hope or not. You feel fear with the people around you, right? Just in time, there was a very good girl here. Look at the next door window, do you see it? There is a brunette girl, brown hair. It's her. Let me tell you this beforehand, a high school girl in the real world is different than inside Arosi. She won't aim for your neck. Because she is stupid. She is stupid and annoying but kind, so she would not take advantage of you. If you feel sad, just call her. You just need to knock on the wall of her room and she'll come immediately. It'd be no problem if you want some help. That's all I can do, all I can for you now. If possible, you'll be helping me staying quiet. More than that. If you cared by Yukaina, then definitely do not expose yourself. Because I am a strange guy. Being a boy, you have to use boy language, like maybe so, beat me or not that, for example. By the way, when we swap, I won't let you lose your girly image, so don't worry. The end. Pang, a loud sound pounded my eardrums right after we swapped. That small body was trembling. I constrained my legs and stepped up to regain balance. Maybe this was the result of me getting lucky. For some reason, I stopped before the glowing balls passing over my face with the speed of lightning. What, don't be so disappointed, Kumoi Haruka. And the thing which was approaching me was slow steps and a small voice. Looking at the distance, I found a young man. Slender figure, 1m80 tall. He wore a red shirt inside with a black sweater. Below he wore a ragged style jeans. Half of his ears was covered by his black tea-color hair. He had a fire tattoo around his neck. For some reason, he had a hard-to-understand face, as if he was happy and unhappy at the same time. His right hand holding the pistol at his temple, as if thinking of something that answer would soon come. As if turning 180 degree, I said angrily. Ma, it is fine. If my guess was incorrect, I only have to find it again. Cast speed. The moment he pulled the trigger, I quickly jumped to the side and cast a spell. Without the glowing light, when I increased my SPD, I dodged the grammar ray which looked like cannonballs coming at me. In a second, sound of bullet drilled a hole on the wall pounded against my eardrums. Keeping distance with the man, I quickly regained my calm and looked at him with full vigilance. Why did you suddenly shoot me suddenly? Immediately, he answered me with intimidation mixed with surprise. Are you a slowpoke? Didn't we just introduce ourselves properly? Is that so? Unfortunately, I am bad at remembering boy's name. If possible or, after reincarnate into a bishjo like me, Watashi, then we LL continue. He pulled the trigger, the sounds of gunfiring appeared continuously. I depended on the different in our SPD and kept dodging out of his line of sight. And after the sixth bang click click, no more gunshot sound came. Out of bullet. Bullet count 0. Reload. Immobilized. To enemy that used gun, no way he had made a mistake at this time. While running on the ground with these fast feet, I reluctantly changed my direction. By trading with the weapon shop a lot of recover before logging out, I still had a few card left. Teleport and delay was my main weapon right now. In here, teleport was a spell with low rarity, its effect was to bend the space so that the player could go somewhere. In other words, it was a card used in emergency. Emergency escape. That's good. One of the card required but, the RNGness was high so it wasn't so good. After teleportation and randomly needing other player, the situation could be worse. With limited ability, currently with speed, and the weapon which was this short knife. I'd overcome it even though I don't have any hope for this situation. As I materialize my weapon on my hand, I approached the man in front of my eyes. With my world speed up he couldn't catch up with me. Seeing him slowly taking out his magazine, I aimed at his neck. Cast enhance plus speed right when I was about to cut him. He cast his spell with a malicious laugh, because I had a bad feeling. I jumped back. A black ball grazed in front of my eyes. It was a 9mm bullet. For a while now his cruel pistol had continuously firing without hesitation. Although, how could it be? He simply ignored reload and shot everywhere? A powerful force grazed my cheek even though I dodged it? What is this? Even though I use speed but I still couldn't read her move. What kind of cheat is this? As he said, I felt a chill running down my spine. If I didn't adjust to this body the next attack definitely would hit. Not only his speed was overwhelming, his action was also strange. Even so, he didn't seem to care about my reaction but I scowled because of what he said. Cheat, right? Don't tell me this time it's still useless. Yar. At least I trapped that Rika, what This has nothing to do with you. Monologue, I was only speaking to myself. Even if you make it different for me. Dante regretted in the real world his firing speed was faster than my reaction time. Even the sound was bigger than before, a big hole had been punctured at the corner of the parking lot. Come on, think. I'd really die if this kept going on. In order to change my vein, I had to put my hand behind my neck and hold this annoying long hair. The soft skin had been covered in sweat. However, this body still let out a sweet scent. Girl was really weird. Enhance plus speed, so it was that. To cast this strange spell I could turn the tide of battle. Just as he said, it was not a cheat or anything, then if it was a trick existed in the usage? For example, for trading card game, TCG, if it was a combo effect of card plus card? In the case we combine enhance with speed, I see, the effect of speed had been enhance? Meaning, the effect of one card had become 2 card. It was completely different with the speed that I used. By exiting the place I was standing, I dodged the incoming bullet. Just a little more. A little more I'd have the correct answer. Maybe I had to give up not getting hurt. Simon think. Wasn't he that if it was you, you could do it? I still had 2 card on my hand. Delay would lower the player SPD and teleport would bend space and lead us to somewhere. This card was an unreliable factor. Was there any other way yo defeat that bad guy? While mumbling, at the same time I look at my hand. There was. Even though I wasn't sure but, there was one method with high chances of success. If I thought about specifications for the game of Sphia. And ROC was also mirrored by it somewhat. First of all, that would be my victory line I thought at this moment. It was just that, in the case it failed it would be the end. Nothing guarantee if Kumoi Haruka was game over then I could come back to my body in the real world. However, even so right Tarumi Yuunagi. If you couldn't overcome this, how you could fight in ROC in the future? Of course you can Idiot. Saying so, I smile a little, then glared at where that bad guy was standing. He had raised his hand, stared at me and curved a smile. Right when he fired without hesitation, I announced. Cast delay plus teleport, what? His curved smile froze. My body disappeared when the bullet came, and appeared behind him after a second. A perfect position. A teleportation into sudden attack had succeeded. It was something like this of a trick. Actually, with teleport ID randomly moved to a place in the area. In this case, how would the synergy worked was the key. That was right. For example, the effect of delay stacked on teleport, though, would it add up? Using delay on myself, I'd limit my teleport range. Then what happened if my teleport range was in front of my eyes? Of course, that was only a guess, there was no solid proof. However, I still used this method because I remembered the conflicted effect of delay. Lowered the opponent SPD. Because of that effect, it would easily restrain other players. That meant, even I myself could be attacked. Was it accidental? A coincidence? A fault or something? No way, this was a game. If so, just for fun's sake, using delay and myself, a new type of interesting card combination could be born. Triple A. While he looked up from behind of that tall body, I used all my strength to swing the short knife with my right hand. I slashed his neck with the shining blade without hesitation. However, that hurts, he said in a small voice and shrugged his shoulder. I opened my eye wide in surprise. It was just like a nightmare. No, not it was like or anything. This was a nightmare. He should have fallen down when receiving that slash to the back of his neck, but after a few seconds he stood up. What a nightmare. Are you kidding me? You didn't die from that. Are you a monster, Kaha? Unfortunately, my HP and defense are high. He clutched his belly as if he was satisfied from the bottom of his heart. After a bit he laughed maliciously again. And then, after a short pause, he stared at me with his red bloodshot eye. As expected, as I expected. Exactly what I had thought. Kuhaa, as if fate is playing with me. Now how do we settle the score now? I've been looking for you, Tarumi Yuunagi wa. How? Do you know I trembled before his words? What did this guy just say? No, what did he know? Looking at this appearance, how did he know I was Tarumi Yuunagi? Though, from the start, who was he? Listening to his tone, he seemed to know me, but I was looking like this. If you forgot, then let me remind you. That's a big service? I am in a good mood right now. Interrupting my panic state, he raised both of his hands. I am a Zaoi Kazuki. What, still don't remember? Oi, what a cold guy. In a game 4 years ago, a genius gamer Zaoi Kazuki-sama like me was defeated by you completely. Staring at that Zaoi Kazuki guy who had just screamed loud enough that he exposed his canine, I followed my bitter memories that had just appeared in my head. 4 years ago. It was winter. A cold time. At that time I was only first-year middle schooler, and I joined Ura-game which Sphaya held. At that time I wasn't dragged in. After finding every suggestion about the right to participate on the neck, I bought that weird thing from an old couple who had been planning on throwing it away. Then I was determined. To fulfill my wish, I could only believe. Therefore I put myself to the game, and it seemed only in a week I completed that game. It seemed here was because my memories of it was quite blurry. That scene, I didn't remember correctly how it went. Just like it was filtered, the darkest part of my memories had been filtered. It was just like my self-defense system. In that game, my wish was fulfilled. I was grateful for that up till now. However, the price for that was in no way small. Ura-game at that time was held as something even more evil than ROC. They thoroughly used the untrustable system to its fullest in order to win. Crush, kill, trick, doubt everything except yourself, that was all you need to complete the game. Continue with a heartless cold head, my mind had become barren in a blink of an eye. Maybe it because I was weak. Because I was too optimistic and innocent. For that game I had changed the part inside of me. And the experiment was a success. I gained complete victory. Then I was praised by the game master. Wonderful. You have decided to discard your humanity. Yes. That was the only way to complete this game. Congratulations Kuha bop bop. While knocking his gun over his shoulder, Izayoi laughed as if he couldn't keep it down. Looking at his figure I remembered. It was true that in the game before he was there. But at that time he didn't look like this, his hair was black too. It was no different than a boring parting story. As I answered Izayoi I tilted as if feeling something was strange. The outer appearance doesn't matter. Make suggestion based on the player's skill. I didn't play with you, how could I know though? You cosplaying as a girl? Kaha, is that your hobby? How ridiculous. I'll kill you, damn it. VNs appeared on my forehead after hearing what he said, however, because I was now a bishjo so I couldn't retort. Speaking of which, this guy even though he joined Ura-game but he said I don't need any reward, as if he was only a show-off weirdo. I was here to battle the strong. And, I'd beaten that kind of Izayoi. If so then there was no way. He was a stalker who liked to follow people. Just now you said the outer appearance doesn't matter. Izayoi made a twisted face, then he fired into the sky. You are that Yuunagi, I was sure of it. Hey, why don't we continue that fight? About the winning score you won rupee, I am 0. It wouldn't be nice if you run away? It would be pathetic. Unfortunately, I am in a very cute body right now. I don't care, the problem is the battle. Kaha, since then I always wanted to continue joining Ura-game and find you. And this time I'll win the steaming pistol aimed at me. Staring at him, I checked where he gun aimed at. In this situation, seemed like there's no way out. That surprise attack before, in fact it was my last trick. Now I only had one weapon card to defense. Running away now was not an option. If so then I'd lose? Right here? Even if I knew I'd lose everything if I lost? Gulp. The final moment I stood inside this game was completely different than before, simply because the small body was trembling. So it was. I am sorry Harukaze, I couldn't save you. Closing my eyes, I let go of everything and wait for the moment the bullet came. What are you doing, Kazuki-kun? A turnabout. Suddenly a girl approached him and interrupted, somehow my life was saved. Izayoi stopped her head with his right hand, then tiredly answered. Ha, Rika. Why are you here? Don't tell me you overcome those traps? What traps? I don't want to think about killing time by being left at the game center. Unbelievable, was it fun? Look, Kazuki-kun, this stuffed bear I get it in one try, not that. Your wound, Kazuki-kun. Blood is flowing from your neck. Why don't you heal it, are you stupid? Shut up, so noisy that hurts. Why, you cruel, I was only worrying about you. I told you, HAAA. It's useless whatever I say, what is it, why did you side? Didn't he pay attention to the seemingly cute girl's words? Izayoi operate his gear and put away the gun in boredom, then he turned around and raised his hand up. When he saw me looking stupid before that action, he said. I am bored. I'll go home. Ma, today was fun, Yuunagi. You're the first one who landed a hit on me in this game. Let's meet again when we have the chance. Hey, wait. I told you I am going home, don't you hear? I am not in the mood to fight you. But let you treat now was a little waste. In order to enjoy this more I'll give you time to learn more. Leaving me there they went away. It was this time I couldn't say anything. I couldn't think about anything. Mercy no, it was just his swinging mood. A complete defeat before Izayoi Kazuki, I couldn't sympathize with myself right now. A big shame more than any. I clenched both of my hands since when I didn't know. TCH, damn it, I just lied down there and used the back of my hand to swipe the water droplet on my cheek. I also didn't know whether it was tear or sweat. Muharu-chan is here. I contacted you a lot of time and you didn't answer, you cruel?
While resting in the corner of the parking slot, I heard an innocent voice. Himuri. As I saw her coming, I stood up. Actually, there was notice of someone calling for a while now. And I knew that was Himuri who was calling. Therefore I ignored her to rest here. Even so. Don't come near me. I am not kidding. While being wary of every of her action, I slowly stepped back with soft step. However, Himuri only tilted her head in puzzlement, then she quickly approached me. Hi, are you playing hide and seek with me? I won lose? Stop acting. Himuri. You come here to kill Kumoi Haruka, right? Kill who? Who do I have to hurt? Little Haruchin? No, why must I kill Haruchin? Because the different in music art? Or by impulse? Why, because. For a second I didn't know what to say. Himuri for a while now had been acting as if she didn't understand. I didn't feel like she was lying. Wait a minute. Don't you doubt that I am the princess? Why is that? Haruchin is the princess? No. Both me and Himuri was confused. It seemed like the two stories was not matched. You watched the information in ROH, right? The princess was someone who couldn't log out of ROC. Of course I knew that. And you saw me used return in front of your eyes. No, you were there. Because I asked you how to use that spell. But Haruchin, before you logged out you had ran away? I know? Return shouldn't be used in front of other. Because it creates too much opening. I'd do so if that were me. So there isn't anything worth worrying. Haruchin is the type of people who worry a lot, right? I ran away when I used return? No, there was no such thing. No matter how I tried to remember, I was sure to activate it in front of Himuri. That's right, I read it in a small voice. Supposedly. Supposedly if at that time Himuri didn't hear it, and Harukaze swapped back, because she felt fear she ran away? And Himuri thought it was normal to use return so she didn't give chase? If so then it was fitting. Then, if so, I am sorry, just forget everything. IVE just PvP so I am a little annoyed. Are you okay? Things like this happened. Himuri didn't mind any words I said, she still smiled Nihihai as always. Approaching with the sound of footsteps she stared down at me. But hey. In game like this you need a teammate? I don't know. As I answer her curtly she hugged me and scrubbed her cheeks to mine. The smooth skin and the scent from her hair, all these things kept attacking my mind making me felt as if melting. She had declared she would follow me, right? Leave it be. Just leave it be. For now I could avoid dangers. Right here, just like what I announced to Harukaze, even a little bad I still had the ability to complete this ROC. If so then accepting help from other won't be anything bad. Although it was a bit bitter, but if it were Himuri then for more or less I could use her Hey, don't take advantage of this and kiss me. Nihihai. Because it's delicious I'll keep it. Don't talk why stroking my thigh hey. A silver maiden was using all her strength to push away Himuri who was taking advantage. It was me. As expected, it'd be dangerous if I were easy with her. Mostly my virginity. Player, Komoi Haruka collection status of Curse Hidden Treasure, 0 organizing status Rebellion, 0 status, begin plus Harukaze, nice to meet you, I am Harukaze. First of all, let me give you my thanks. Also my repentant. It was like this, actually I thought, if possible I didn't want to meet this brunette person Yuunagi-san introduced me. I was a little hesitated. But Yukina-san. After I fell face down on the bed, somehow she flew over from the window. Moreover, even though I avoided looking at her but she kept talking as if it was nothing like how are you doing Nagi, what a coincidence. Compared to being startled I laughed. Even though she was the first person I met. In a moment I felt like I could get along with her. Everything is all thanks to Yuunagi-san. You tell me not to hope for much, but I've already received plenty of happiness.
And this is P.S. Tarumi Yuunagi-san.
How do you read that world?
I'll be happy if you could tell me. Plus Yuunagi, sorry. It read as Tarumi Yuunagi.
First of all, I've got used to your eyesight. I still haven't able to do anything for you, and from now on I don't know what I could do. Just that, we can only meet through this swapping diary. So there will be late reply.
Chapter 3, Malicious Intent. Along the road, when I headed north I found a family restaurant.
Inside it was empty. But it would be wrong to say there was no human figure. I was welcomed by the hearty smile of a NPC as a waiter and was guided to my seat. After called our drink, we started our strategic meeting. Hey Himuri, this is only an if drink, bitter.
This coffee is bitter Yua. Haruchin. Even though there is only you and me but Yuri still a girl? So don't make that kind of face?
Why does this coffee so bitter? How can I drink something like this? Not only Yuri bad-mouthing Yuri getting angry at me, really, bitter. I was not like I hated the realistic replication of the five senses in ROC. Though Himuri did it so I could fight my sleepiness. If she didn't give me a bad suggestion I definitely wouldn't drink this coffee. Nihihai, I am sorry. Himuri clapped her small hands in front of her chest and apologized.
I didn't think Haruchin had sweet tooth this thing, although it looks kind of thick and sweet. It would be nice if you talked more about yourself. Really, Haruchin is so cute. Or do you want to swap with my orange juice? It even had a straw.
Himuri pointed her glass to me. Through the surface of the orange-colored water, just now she sucked. My vision was drawn to Himuri's lips.
Nihihai, it's a trap. Just like the Yuri in her name, in order to have Yuri she set up a trap. It's okay. I can drink this. There is no other way. I'll drink this black coffee. Cough, Simon, it's dangerous to be hasty. Come on, just relax. Koho, koho koo, you completely can drink it? Blooming a wry smile, Himuri went behind my back.
She started rubbing my back gently. My rough breathing started to calm down.
I cleared my throat. Let us get back to the topic.
Hey Himuri, although the story was a bit counterproductive and negative, but if the aim was finishing ROC, then which way did you think was the shortest?
Of course it would be to kill the princess. Quick answer, although that was reasonable. But this is different? In order to discover the princess it would cost a lot of time. What I am asking is the shortest way.
Let us see, it would be hidden treasure, right? Finishing 2 orange glass, Himuri answered with sorrow. Looking while there is no suggestion would be difficult, that means the king's henchman also isn't any better. Therefore the hidden treasure would be hot for player.
More than just looking for some unknown person, clearly it wouldn't be hard to just steal something, is that so? What if no one collected them? It is so.
The thing called cursed hidden treasure.
There are total of 5 cards and its effect is like a restrain.
The more you have them the difficulties you'll have, and your card slot would be limited too. Then when PvP the chance of losing would be rather high.
You rewrite.
I put my hand on my mouth and yelled. I see, the winning condition, or to be correct hidden treasure was also a kind of card. Because we had to collect up to 5, we'd end up with 2 slot remaining.
However, that was still the most possible way. Hey, do you know its bad effect? There is one I know. Haruchin, take out your device. Right when Himuri pointed at the device,
a reflected screen appeared before my eyes.
I continued to click the icon map. Looking at the place that soft finger pointed at, I saw a blinking white dot. This is? Nihihai.
That is the hidden treasure hunted evil. I could find the position of the place who held it.
Moreover, if you touch the dot crossbow enhance return revive check, what is this? Don't tell me even the location in card slot is noticeable by all other player?
That's right. Himuri cutely raised her index finger.
Just looking at it is scary, right?
Although I don't know about the others, but this is definitely the last one. If you possessed hunted evil, we be attacked by other player. Right. You have to manage other cards too, but then you won't have enough card. Even though I said that I didn't know what to do. Because collecting other card except hunted evil would be a better method. Himuri nodded and suddenly stood up, and stretched her shoulder. M2. Naihihai, shall we go, Haruchin? And To finish Arosi, the curtain was raised for two people on the same temporary battle line. Seems like a player who owns a hidden treasure is on a grade school's yard. Spreading that his location everywhere, then set traps and wait in order to find the equivalent value to the information I bought. I had to throw myself out into the sky for countless times. 3 times? That was too little. 10 times? Still not enough. In total the number was 26. Just like a fraud. While I scrubbed my legs in virtual reality pain, I groaned, murmuring that and spit it out. If it was that kind of information, you have to trade 7 rare spell card. Unbelievable? That was outrageous. Ma. It won't do any good blaming her, Haruchin. Moreover, don't you think there'll be an urban legend about a bishjo jumping out of the hotel's window over and over again? It would be wonderful if it were. Wonderful my neck, that's creepy. Himuri feeling was always boorish as always. But there was one thing which was completely correct, it was that there wouldn't be any result blaming the librarian. However, normally it'd be right if she had said something like, if it's about blaming the librarian then I won't lose. Well, let us put the small stuff aside. Because walking back and forth between the hotel and weapon shop from times to times, I collected rather a lot of side stuff. If I kept being angry I wouldn't look like a bishjo. I needed to rearrange the information I just collected. Everyone had collected information about the hidden treasures they were aiming for, hunting for unaware players that came close. He is trying to jebait others. He himself didn't need to act, but how? How to continue hunting player who was planning on stealing hidden treasure, not stopping. For now let us try observation. Let us go to the school. Right when I entered school, suddenly a high-pitched female voice resounded. 2 people don't tell me you come for this great bondage. Nay, do you? You come to steal it, right? Thank you. And let me repay the favor in kind. Therefore come and get it for me. The sun was rising right now. The black sky was being dyed by the early orange light. In the middle of the drawn white line, a woman was squinting her eyes looking at us. I am so happy. I've waited for so long. Quickly come here and save me. She kept screaming the pleas. If you noticed, the shoulder part of her cloth had been torn miserably and showed that part of her skin. Her dirted bare feet was trembling. What happens, Haruchin? You look as if you don't know what to say, Nihi, or are you craving some? Don't be stupid. Even though it was not directly looking, but she's no different than you. Just looking at her you spitted out the word crave. You gotta be on the pretty mad level, nah, that's crude. I am not the kind that like to show myself. Fiercely object to it? Is that so? Then let me ask you. Himuri, what do you think about her? I think she cute. No, it was miserable. Only that? With your personality I wondered where was your limit range. Miserable? There's no such thing. No matter how I look at it, this is exactly 200% a trap. There's no one who would leave everything to someone who he doesn't know. Even a grade kid couldn't be tricked by this. Ooh, it's thinking mode. But, what is her purpose? I cleared my throat and started looking at the situation again. She, for a while now, had looked at me with sweet words. I felt like she didn't seem to want to leave. Moreover, just then she mentioned great bondage. Bondage. That meant, it had some kind of weakness, like unable to move or something? If according to that thought, ragged up cloth and dirted skin, in short, she was damaged and unable to recover a return. But, is that the true? Question upon question in my mind. The effect of unable to move. Was there no method to deal with it? The disadvantage of such card was too much. I could confirm that, it was impossible. If I said she couldn't fight against the bondage, then, it was just like she pretended as if she couldn't move. In other words, she was lying. It was one of the necessary conditions to win. Then, how could I link it with victory? For example, if I listened to her words. Because she couldn't move from there or leave the hidden treasure. It was just that, about ROC setting, it was impossible to trade or sell card. Therefore there was only one way, that was PvP and defeat each other. However, with that trick she still could fight back. A world without law or moral, but only had mutual precaution. If possible, I wanted to use a safe method, like a ranged weapon. I wanted to aim at the steal spell. And right now, I had a trump card right here. While trading with the librarian, sometime I got extra stuffs. Its effect was move the card with highest rarity from the player in your sight into your card slot, a super rare card, spell deprive. If I used it now, I could definitely steal Great Bondage. It was just not good, that would be too easy. If deprive failed, Tan, it couldn't be call fighting. Moreover, even if I had the plan to win in the PvP after deprive, but in that condition, wouldn't that be a battle for Great Bondage between two people? She didn't look like she had any weakness. But, if so, in the end, what would she do? Looking at her emptiness, I thought thoroughly. Deprive. As expected, no matter how I thought about it, the only thing she was most aware of right now was deprive. It could be a bad trade. Therefore, to deprive, how would she deal with it? What was her plan? I didn't know. Moreover, I still hadn't known all of the card in ROC. Not only that, even if there was such card as that, it was an one-time use card. Not suitable for continuing hunting. No. Or was that a recycling card? Or, that couldn't be. What is it? Come here quickly, it's cold and I couldn't take it anymore. Come here and save me. Is that so? That's why she did something so ineffective. While somewhat understand the problem, my hand had activate my device. Opened card slot screen. Speed delay enhanced teleport. While arranging the common spell, I started choosing card. Cast deprive. After I cast, the card also disappear. And in a moment, the whining card Great Bondage must surely be mine, didn't he come? Foo foo foo, you foo 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 foo. After that, a maddening delightful laugh slammed into my ears. It seemed when I cast deprive, she also used something else. From the start she had lied about the binding. With nimbly action she approached me. On her hand was a blood-soaked scythe. While reacting with the twilight, she aimed at my neck. A shriek. Or was that a happy laugh? With a smiling evil face she slashed the scythe down. A full body swing, however. She couldn't touched my body. Actually, I wanted to show you some new skills, sadly you alone, but that's enough. In a moment, with delay plus teleport, I blinked behind and stabbed deep into her neck with the short knife, then slowly pull it out. With beautiful action, her HP dropped to 0. A complete kill combo. She made a strange face and disappeared into particle. Nene Haruchin, what did you just do? While I was confirming my device's screen, Himuri blew into my ear from the behind. Hi. Haruchin's ear is really sensitive. Can I lick it? Can I eat it? Stop, don't be stupid. I'll let it in? I must let it in? Stop this madness. In face Haya. Don't lick it. She did as she said. Himuri restrained me from behind and started licking. While I was roughly breathing, I covered my body. In contrast, Himuri was satisfyingly smiling. She put her hands on mine. You hot again. Just now you feel good, right? There's no way, though. Do you want to ask me or not? I was about to answer you. I am sorry. Don't mind it. What was that attack and defense? I completely don't get it. So I am listening? Tell me? I heaved a long sigh before Himuri eager look. It is not anything difficult, just that I made it becomes difficult, weakness or something. then after thinking that I didn't know what her intention was, it was just her crazy fighting style, I said disappointedly. Himuri her tilted in confusion, maybe I needed to explain in more details. First I used deprive. Supposedly at that moment I could VE stolen great bondage. Because there was no card with higher than hidden treasure, so it was impossible for it could slip to other card. However, the stolen card was not great bondage. That was her secret plan. The case another player take a card from your card slot, leaving all condition, this card will surely be chosen rare spell card sacrifice. A card to overcome deprive. The opponent had planned carefully so that I would have openings. Then she could just easily use that scythe. Wasn't that a perfect plan? Not going to happen. In fact. In truth, that strategy didn't have any value. Just like the theory I just threw away. Even if that strategy succeeded, in the end the only reward in PvP would still be sacrifice. Moreover, she did that. From the start I didn't look for her weakness, but that was the only way? People likes her only want to PvP. Ha, I see. After finishing the explanation, Himuri nodded and admiringly said. Using deprive with great understanding, so Haruchin had moved a step before that person? That was unexpected, isn't that surprising? It's nothing special. This is extremely simple, if there were a trap then I would only steal the card twice in PvP with deprive. Ha, though from the start of ROC till now I only see weirdos. Nai-hi, that's so. Is been tough on you? Don't be sad? You not different from them? In contrast you the weirdest. Why is that? Himuri pouted her cheeks as if sulking and hugged my back tightly. I tried to turn my face away from that sweet girly scent coming from her. Accidentally, the soft silky hair touched my nose. Enemies are everywhere. I am about to lose self-control. Get away from me. While being pressed down by Himuri body, I once again touched my device. I'd been hindered for a while, so I still hadn't seen the effect of great bondage. It was very urgent business. Right when I touched it to open the window its effect appeared before my eyes. Foo. Are you looking a great bondage effect? Seemed like you could still move easily, don't you meet with any hindrance? Right. In short it is lower SPD by 10% only. So it wouldn't affect much. At this much I could still move normally. Foo. I see, that's good. I avoided Himuri bright face. In fact, it was all a lie. Great bondage. Its actually effect was you can log out from ROC. Of course, from the start Kumoi Haruka had been blocked from logging out, so this was not much problem. It just, although it was not a problem, but it was my problem. Everything would become a bit annoying when my real identity was exposed. Once it was ID die. Therefore, I could only play innocence. Himuri didn't doubt my words I just said, she leisurely raised her hand indifferently. First of all we got one card? So let us go find the second hidden treasure. Wait in the middle of it, I interrupted Himuri happy voice. Right now, don't tell me she didn't hear anything? My face became stiff, I knelt on the ground and slowly looking around and vigilant. However, I didn't saw anyone. What happened, Haruchin? Feeling curious, Himuri also crouched down. That sound, it didn't seem like a sudden sound, even now I still could hear it. A very weird sound. It sounded like metal grinding against each other. Or the sound of strong wind whistling. In a moment, that thing appeared before our eyes. A strange thing. A thing, yeah right, this was the unique look of a thing. It looked like a twisted human figure, or to be more precise from head to toe it was covered in heavy metal armor. It was not an armored man, it was a block of metal. An object. A perfect function or bravery, all these words didn't correctly describe it, a special form as if indestructible. Moreover its weight too. Even though it was stupid, but I could say it was the toughest metal warrior. Gari! As it cried its battle cry it swung its right hand. It didn't use any weapon.
That would be unnecessary. A punch of this scale could crush the opponent. Immediately Himuri and I looked at each other. Definitely immediately. Run! Looking at the short knife which I threw easily got rebounded of him, we used all our strength to run away. Lunatic killing cursed warrior. That monster seemed to be one of the king's henchmen. According to Himuri words, he, although I didn't know about its gender, had a personality as to attack player that owned hidden treasure. It seemed if we could damage it in a PvP he will become our teammate. However, till now only some small part of player could seemingly do it. And, after an hour running away from that cursed killer, Himuri had already logged out. Since she was out of breath, maybe she hit her limit. If wanting to rest, then the real world would be safer than this background world. After that, because I still had things to do with me, after I said goodbye to Himuri, I collected a few return and for now I use one. Mu? Nyamu, A. Immediately I opened my eyes. And? Since when did I go to sleep? I fixed up my chaotic memory before and after the swap. Alright, Harukaze went to sleep to avoid meeting people. Therefore even if swapping mind but my body was still closing its eyes. Maybe, Harukaze had tightly hurt the pillow and covered in blanket when sleeping. So I felt a little tight, my world was covered in the blanket making me unable to see anything. That was the truth, right? More than just my vision, I felt something very sensitive. Why bed was this soft? Why was it this fragrant? Being wrapped in this warm comfortable heat, if I was neglected I'd be sunk back into the darkness. And then, suddenly. Nagi. I forced myself to let go off that hug pillow. I was being hugged by a not so strong force, my mind was shaking in suffocation and chaos. What? What is this? Was it another weird nightmare? No, how could I call it nightmare? My whole body was feeling wonderful, a dreadfully wonderful feeling, though to start with I didn't have a hug pillow. I quickly calmed down and yanked the blanket away. Nunya. Tilting myself, my vision became a big blurry. Don't tell me it was as I predicted, there was someone who I'd known the most in the world, Sasahara Yukaina. She was wearing a 2-wire coat looked very sexy, for some reason, she was hugging me and smiled happily. The bottom of her coat had been pulled up revealing that white belly. Fufu, truly Nagi couldn't live without me, there's no such thing, idiot being evasively before Yukaina's sleep talk, or more correctly meaningless words, I quickly looked around. A room full of girl-s smell. White, blue, pink, orange. A colorful bright space. I couldn't be wrong, this was Yukaina room. That means, for a while now I was sleeping on Yukaina bed. What the? I slept with Yukaina for one night? In the time I swapped. Hey, Yukaina? When I called out worriedly, she answered in a cryptic language NYU? Being clutched in her arms, I had no other choice but to reluctantly and forcefully get up. Sitting up straight on the bed, I put my hands on her soft cheeks. Wake up. Hey Yukaina, hurry and wake up, I beg you Fui, what is it, stupid quickly and wake up, now is not the time to say stupid. Simon, hurry up and wake up. Or just said why, Nagi? Nagi what? It's Yuunagi-kun, your childhood friend. Is something strange? Yukaina blinked her big eyes in my hands, then she burst out laughing. So cute. No, she was truly cute but that was not what I meant. It's just that she didn't look surprised at all. Good morning, Nagi. Saying her greetings as any other morning, then while Yukaina was rubbing her eyes she yawned and stretched her hands. And then, she said about things that I never expected. Hey. I thought about it a long time ago, your friendly smile is really cute. What's that? Because, your friendly smile from yesterday. It was rare. Suddenly Nagi said because I easily get lonely I want to sleep together that made me startled a bit. How was it? Did you have a good sleep? Now I understood why deep within I felt relieved. Completely not because of Yukaina expression right now. Mostly because she had trusted in my need for help and accepted the plea of Harukaze. Really, as expected of a perfect childhood friend, nothing better. It was true that I said if there was any difficulties come and seek help from Yukaina, but sharing a bed was a bit too much. Not good, I completely couldn't sleep a wink. Now I am seriously lack of sleep right now. Therefore, sorry Yukaina, now I am going back to my room to sleep. Wait Nagi, what about going to school? Moo, I am not going to take responsibility if you late. Because I didn't want my blushed red face being seen, in a blink of an eye I dashed out of the room. Putting my hand on the window I jumped back to my room. I closed the window and ignored all her angry words. While tightly holding my strongly beating heart with my right hand, I straightly went to the study desk. The thing I aimed for was definitely the swapping diary. Seeing as something was hidden inside the study book, I grumpily took it out. Then I opened the newest page. I didn't encourage her to stick with. I was about to grouse her so but. Fun. I get it now. Immediately I felt calmed down when I saw her feeling, which was full of gratefulness, that was written on that page. Seemed like she had written all her feelings. The content of the letter was very lively and emotional. That pure sincerity didn't have any ulterior motives. She had trusted me unconditionally. With Yukaina personality there was no wrong. She had wrote in determination, although I am still a bit scared, but, just as what Yuunagi-san said, I think I'll try to love this world one bit at a time. Thinking about her feeling in that situation, she was a really shy girl. It'll be alright if she is interested. Saying so I slowly shaking my head. Then I sat on the chair and picked up the pen. Right now Kumoi Haruka was owning 5 return cards. Maybe that would not be enough, if needed I'd add more. Because of that I logged out near the weapon store. First of all, let us begin. Harukaze. From this moment, in order to trade information with each other, use this diary and return, I have something to talk about. Calling it talking, but it's just like communicating through letter? Well, in short, just read it. First is situation report. About me and you swapping or anything else I don't know much about. Therefore, for now completing ROC will be placed first. Let me say it now, if not I don't know what this me will become. Your stuff is secondary. Therefore, in order to complete the game, but logging in and logging out without any order would be annoying, right? So I'll take responsibility. I have to take in consideration of your naivety too, especially I'll stay inside ROC. And Harukaze would just use my body like before.
Thanks for listening to this narration from JupiterAudiobooks.com. We hope you liked it. To continue the story and discover more titles, visit JupiterAudiobooks.com. Until next time.